And we are live here back on Facebook. Appreciate everybody being a part of our show today. We're about to go on the radio to 97.1 The Freak. It's not right. Something's going on here. All right, you got to reboot it again. Here we go. Let's try it again. All right.
Here we are right there.
There it is. All right. Good to go.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
10 seconds.
About to come on in 10 seconds to 97.1 The Freak. Here on the Automotive Edge Radio Show and Facebook page and all the other pages.
We would like to take this time to say thank you for flying with us today here on the AutomotiveEdge.com Flight 101. Please extinguish all cigarettes and cigars, place your seats in the upright position, and fasten your seatbelts. Please do not try to exit through the exit door. 3, 2, 1.
Warning. The information heard here on the Automotive Edge radio show may lead you to find a wealth of knowledge that could possibly save you time and money. If any of this information causes you to be bothered or upset, please sit back, relax, take a deep breath, and seek immediate help. Now, here's your host of the Automotive Edge radio show, Kurt Chase.
Top of the morning. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Automotive Edge Radio Show, the show that helps you with all your automotive needs. Whether you're buying, selling, trading, leasing, parts, service, or body shop, we are here to help. Joining me, the great one. He's bringing back things from the past that we never even thought about. Probably didn't ever hear about. The great one, Big Wheels Bo Carver.
And I'm working on some new laws that is going to blow away all these crazy laws that you read on occasions.
You're going to enact your own laws?
I'm going to enact my own laws.
Beautiful.
There's going to be some sweet stuff.
Beautiful.
Great time to be here today. Beautiful weekend in North Texas. Glad everybody could join us here on 97.1 The Freak every Saturday morning from 10 to noon. And you can also join us on the Automotive Edge Facebook page, Shifting Gears Facebook page, and YouTube, but you have to go to the you have to search the Automotive Edge Radio Show on YouTube, and then you can also ask Siri or Alexa or Echo, hey, go to 97.1 FM The Freak, and there will be.
There you go.
A lot of places to get us.
So whether you're buying, selling, trading, leasing, parts, service, or body shop, we're here to help. We're going to put you with the right people doing it the right way, and you have me through the entire process of buying or leasing or servicing or body shopping your car. And it doesn't cost you a dime. We don't broker. We don't take money from the dealers for helping you or money from you for helping you. We've got a dozen sponsors that sponsor the show, and it frees me up 6 days a week from 7 in the morning till 6 at night to help you with your automotive needs. And remember, at the website, theautomotiveedge.com, you can get your car appraised. Too many people are calling me up after you do the deal going, hey, was this enough money for my trade? I can't help you. I don't want to say no. I'd love to say yes all the time, but I don't.
Okay, that's the one thing you don't want to hear is that, I wish you'd have called me. I could have gotten you a couple more $1,000 for that car.
Yep.
So it's better to know before you try to do something to hear it later, because that's a terrible news.
The funniest one was I had a gentleman had me appraise his car. And so he's at home, and he goes, hey, I've got this car. And he goes, I said, give me the VIN. And so I pull up the VIN number, and I said, okay, tell me on the car on a 1 to 5, how do you rate the body? And then how do you rate this? And he's going through everything on the car. I said, never been a wreck? Nope. AC blows cold, ice cold. New tires. I mean, his car was jammed up jelly tight. So I told him $28,000, and there was dead silence. His wife goes, I am going to slap the crap out of you.
No.
And so,
no.
Guess what he got for the car? 22.
Well, you've had a lot of testimonies of that, too. And that's why we're here. We're here to help you know before you go and to do anything with a vehicle.
Yep.
Because you don't want to hear that kind of information. Plus, you don't want to know later if you bought a vehicle that you overpaid those kind of monies. and overpay for this, that, or the other. Just different things. Don't get yourself in that position, because this is the time and the place to do it right here on the automotiveedge.com.
Yeah, my buddy, he years ago, he came into a ton of money and went and bought himself a Cadillac Escalade. And he said, all right, I want this Cadillac Escalade. And so he pulls up to my house and he goes, hey, come on out, I want to show you my new rig. And so he tells me all about it, and he's telling me all this stuff. And he goes, well, let me ask you a question. Do you think I got a good deal? So I'm looking at his paperwork. I said, well, here, I don't need to go through all this. This is a car you've always wanted. He said, no doubt about it. And I said, and the payments are good. He goes, yeah, I put 50% down. I want to reestablish some credit. And okay, fantastic. I called the dealer. They made $14,000 on the deal. And I didn't have the heart to tell him. So a couple years later,
I wish he'd called me. I would have called to tell him.
Yeah, he heard me telling that story, and he goes,
Uh-oh, that's me, isn't it?
I'll be doggone, but I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, you need to let me know, because I'd love to call those people.
Yeah.
I got some good news, sir.
You're talking about salting a bad wound.
You paid that dealer made $14,000 off of you. I'm not like you. I'll be more than happy if they don't.
I know you would.
If they don't want to go to the automotiveedge.com and help get themselves in a position that they're going to be more happier with than I'm happy to make that call.
Yeah, you are. Hey, 214-787-1971. You want to know where to go, who to see, what to do, and what I think about certain make and model vehicles? Give me a call, 214-787-1971. Well, today we're here at Burleson Nissan, 35 in Renfro Road. Come on out and meet Justin Crane and his staff. And all you have to say is Big Wheels Bo Carver, and he's going to give you 3 free years of maintenance with your purchase or lease. 3 free years of maintenance just by saying Big Wheels Bo Carver.
How about that?
Can't go wrong with that. So, you buy that car for you or the kiddo, you want to maintain it, and you don't want a big expense out of your pocket, just come in and say Big Wheels Bo, and you're off and running. He's going to take care of you for 3 years of ownership on that vehicle. And then when you go to resell it, what's great is you're going to have all your maintenance, all your numbers, all the information that you need. So when you go to trade it in, that's just more money. And that's the way it works here at Burleson Nissan, 35 in Renfro Road. Check out all their specials at burlesonnissan.com. And one thing that you need to check out that I thought was a complete makeover that's really a good-looking rig now is the new Nissan Kicks. You back up a few years ago, and that wasn't very sexy or eye-appealing for me. But now it's the deal. The new Nissan Kicks. And plus, here you got a Nissan Versa under 19 grand. You got the Nissan Sentra under 21 grand. Brand new 2024s. You got $9 grand off the Titan. Big discounts on the Armada. You got the Frontier. You got the Aria, which he's got several on the lot. They're all electric products, and you know what? And then you get to meet great people. The place, Burleson Nissan, 35 in Renfro Road. Online at burlesonnissan.com.
Also, if you really are afraid to make a phone call, because a lot of people have that kind of anxiety, you can also text that number too, and our lovely Maddie, our producer back in studio, will read the text, and that's the same number as the call-in number, 214-787-1971, or you can go to the Facebook page and make a comment with a question. So there's a lot of ways to get in contact with us if you're not in a place to use the phone, or that you're afraid to do that. But we'll take your call, or we'll try to answer your question via text or on our Facebook feeds, or on YouTube as well. Again, YouTube, you can leave a question there. We can find it, but make sure you go to the Automotive Edge Radio Show YouTube page.
That's right. 214-787-1971 is the number. That's 214-787-1971. And let us help you with your automotive needs. Or just go to the site, theautomotiveedge.com, click on Ask Kurt, leave me your name and number, and I will call you right after the show and make sure you're taken care of from hello to congratulations on your new or pre-owned vehicle. So want to hit a couple things real quick. A lot of moms and dads have already started calling me about their kids' graduation present and what they'd like to buy them. And there's a lot of people going, hey, I just saw this ad about this car, and all these individuals are now selling cars. There are in abundance. And then I have what I call your your warehouse dealers. And not to say, I want to clarify this, that all warehouse dealers are bad or they sell junk or whatever the case may be. But we went to one the other day. They told me this car was over off Inwood. We pulled up to this warehouse and only part of the lights were on. All the cars were covered in dust. They did have a Texas Motor Vehicle dealer license. And we walked in and all there was a table and a chair.
So how hard does it take to get a dealer's license anyway? Just money?
Well, they do the background and everything, and check to see, if you had problems and whatever the case may be. There's an application to do.
Okay, I got you. But that doesn't mean they're going to be great.
No, and so they said, well, this car, based on what I'm looking at and what other cars are priced at, I'm like, look at this place. And all of a sudden this guy pops out and he goes, hey, can I? And I
like
went,
Jack in the Box.
And I'm just looking at him. I went, yeah, we're looking at the vehicle. Oh, great vehicle, all covered in dust. It doesn't even look like it's ready to go. He goes, yeah, I took that on. We get out there, it doesn't start. He goes, well, let me jump it off. I'm going, my gosh. And I'm looking at her going, really? This is it. I said, I tell you what, buddy, just hold off jumping off. He goes, all right, have a great day. Just walked away. And I said, you have to be so careful how these people, and his sign was actually glued to the building. So that means he can pop that thing off and go somewhere else and set up shop again. And every one of the cars, had an as is, meaning they're as is. You ain't getting no warranty, no nothing. And it was cash only. And I'm going, you've got to be kidding me.
You don't even have to pull off the lot and be sold with that car. You sign your name, you're done.
Yeah, don't do that. And what's funny is there was one ready for delivery. It was all spit shine and cleaned up. And I said, well, how come the rest of the cars don't look like this? He goes, they hadn't been sold yet. I'm going, you have got to be kidding me. So anyway, yeah, your warehouse so-called dealers run. Now, there are some out there that are in the warehouse districts that are, I know the owners, and I know the kind of cars they buy, and I know that they have companies to finance them, and I know they have extended warranties. Well,
let me ask you this question, because there's a lot of people out there that have gone through some credit issues, and they just really can't. I'm talking about the place where they really just can't get something done at a dealership. And a lot of times they're forced to go to these places that will do the term tote the note. I don't like that term, but that thought process. And sometimes they just have to do that. Do you have some guidance for them to go to some of those places, or you just say that that's just on their own?
Well, I do, because a lot of people think just because they have credit issues that they're stuck like Chuck and they have to buy whatever.
Right.
And that's just not true. They think, okay, well, I had a glitch here or a glitch there. I had a charge off or whatever the case may be, that I have to go tote the note.
Right.
And the ones that have contacted me, I would say, being conservative, that we've helped 70% of them.
How about that?
That thought they had to go to tote the note. I'm going, hang on. And what I do is I look at, in fact, I have a sheet here. And let me just help you here.
Good question, Big Will's Bow.
It says, subprime is 501 to 600. Deep subprime is 300 to 500. And you're going, average APR on a new car on subprime was 11.86%. On average, these tote the note lots, it's whatever.
I was going to say, that's
whatever they're going to get.
That's still a lot better than that.
Yep, and the average is, 18.39 on subprime. On non-prime, 601 to 660, 13.5. But on a new car, average 9.29%. Those are not bad rates, because usually
correct.
People walk in, it's $17.99.
Easy.
With 20% down, plus TTNL.
Total note place, right?
No, I'm talking about a dealership.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Because they have, I'm not going to say the name of the banks. I know them all real well, that they would send this paper to. But I'm telling you, if you're a second late, they're getting that car back. They don't play, and then they'll contact you, and you have to. It's just not good. And the best way is to go through a reliable dealer that is going to look at your bureau, and he's going to look at your job time. He's going to look at your past credit history. He's going to look at your residency. He's going to look at your debt to ratio, see what the charge-offs are, make that explanation to the bank. The bank's going to electronically approve or decline, and then what they do is they rehash it with the bank and go, hang on a second here. Did you take a look at this, this, and this? And there was one guy, he had all these charge-offs on his bureau, but he walked in and said, look, every one of them been paid. I've established with these 2 credit cards that wasn't on his bureau yet. Man, that bank bought that paper. So
well, see, that's the whole thing about knowing before you go. So you need to go to the automotiveedge.com, click on Ask Kurt. Just leave your phone number and say, I got a few questions, and just have that dialogue with him to get you in a position to where you don't have to do that tote the note or lose money with your trade or lose money in purchasing a vehicle.
that's right. You need to have somebody on your side. Just don't go in and throw yourself at the mercy of the dealer. Don't do it. Let's get together and have a conversation prior to, and make sure that you're doing it right and you're being taken care of. 214-787-1971. That's 214-787-1971. What'd you say?
Maddie's sweating. 10 seconds now.
Let's go to break, and we'll be right back.
Here, I'll just move this one in. Well, we're important, aren't we? All right. I'll just.
Keep going back till we look skinny. Yeah.
We got a whole new setup since you sent us last.
I know. This is real fancy.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. About to be on. About to get our own podcast going. So
Are you on TikTok?
I'm not.
Yeah, me either. I don't know about
What's
that
that?
yet.
So this deal with Nissan overhauling the $200 million investment for home shopping.
Yes.
Are you in on that?
Yeah, we do it.
You were signed up? Because it was only 80% of the dealers signed up.
Yeah. Yeah, we're signed up.
But people are still buying from home?
Kind of.
Kind
of. Click that button that says personalize your payment right there.
It says,
You see,
right there.
see
Click that
this
one.
good stuff
Yeah.
right here?
That's it right there. It's going to pop up. That's Nissan's Buy at Home.
Check this out.
huh.
Oh, I like that.
We got all this.
You spelled it right in everything.
Yeah, it took me a while. I had to go back and check it.
Me too.
Look at the little
honestly.
ticker here, the Automotive Edge Radio
Oh,
Show.
I love it.
Pretty sweet, huh?
So I think the important thing to remember on that is that, no, I don't think anybody wants to 100% buy a car at home. But I do believe they want to do a big portion of it at home. You know, whether you have good credit or bad credit, a lot of folks want to get pre-approved before they ever get there.
Do you
they don't
quote
want to do
rates
that.
over the phone?
I'm happy to.
Really?
Yeah.
I still have the ones that even say, do it from your fingertips. And I call it, well, we can't discuss that till you
No,
come in.
no,
I'm like,
we'll do it.
why would you want to have it set up that
Yeah.
way?
Yeah, same thing with, trades. I'm not just like you. When you give a number for a trade, I'm happy to give a number. It's not 100% accurate till I see the
Based
car.
on the way you're describing
But
it.
I'm happy to,
Yeah.
And then I would tell you, we have, I don't know what the number is, 40% of the deals that are offline that come in here, and 60-70% of it's already done.
Well,
And like if you think about it, you got three kids running around. Do you want to sit here for 2 hours?
right.
But you can do it at home. You pick the car's ready to roll. You come in, you drive it. We look at your car, done. Everything's done. Credit's done. Stuff like that. And for me, I love when we, because it's less paperwork. It's just, we know where we're at with
It's a little
stuff.
less hassle for y'all.
You
though.
get better surveys.
Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes.
We sent out 10 mystery shoppers, and we'll talk about this when we come back live. And out of the 10, 9 were not told what their credit score were. You're in a range from. I'm like, no. Your score doesn't say range. It's a score.
You got to sign I would ask if they're doing it online, because you have to
50
sign
seconds.
the what is that, risk-based pricing.
Right.
You have to sign the risk-based pricing thing and a privacy notice. So I'm okay with this. I think it's going to be a big part of the future.
Really?
So, yeah.
You think more people are going to be buying from home?
I think more people are going to be doing more of the transaction from home.
Wow.
You got to remember, Kurt, that Justin drives with no hands.
I do drive with no hands.
He's a futuristic kind of guy.
But I mean, if you
Hey, can I
think
come
about
by
it
today and get your Z
yeah,
for the
sure.
day?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You got to figure, like, these high-end dealerships, not, man, they've been doing most of this. I mean, these big executives that are leasing BMWs, you think they're going in for 3 hours to do the paperwork?
Oh, well, Simon Crossley at Avondale, he sells everything from McLaren to Bentley.
Yep.
He said they only show up for delivery.
That's exactly
Everything
right.
else is done.
Yeah.
Everything
I mean-
is digitally signed. When they come
Yeah.
in, they confirm it. And
Yeah. If you call me today and said your wife won a Pathfinder, are you going to come down here for 3 hours?
No.
That's exactly right. Nobody wants to.
You got him in a chokehold on that one, didn't you?
214-787. Well, the way he worded it, he said, "Would you come down here for 30 minutes?" Heck yeah. That's a car guy asking the right question.
Exactly.
214-787-1971. We're here today live, Burleson Nissan, 35 in Renfro Road. Just follow your nose, and you will get here.
It's a hard 8.
Hard 8.
Yeah,
I mean, we got here
every
this
day.
morning. I was like, goodness gracious.
Just hair north of it, huh?
Yeah.
Joining us today, managing partner, general manager, Justin Crane. And we're sitting there talking about, as I went around to all the dealers in my network, and everybody was saying, they had maybe 1 or 2 cars that were actually done online and delivered to the home.
Sure.
And they said that people now, because they were so cooped up and very little interaction, that they want to go. But here again, to your point, because we were talking offline, is that people don't want to hang out. Remember, in the day, we say they were here all day.
Right.
We don't
Right.
want them here all day.
No,
You
no,
don't
we
want them here all
No.
day.
And they don't want to be here all day. Right.
And so the online, and I was reading the article in Automotive News where it said that they put $200 million investment into
Yep.
elevating the Japanese brand's consumer experience. About 2/3 of the brand's 1,000 dealers here in the United States signed up and said, we want to be part of it.
Yes.
We want
Yes.
we want to jump on board. But it's not, and to your point that you were making, it's not about just staying home in a car showing up.
Nope.
You want to reduce the time of the consumer in your building.
Yeah. So I think there's 2 things, because the other part of that thing, the part of it is a big portion of that money was for the buy at home, but then the second part of it was for the service at home. And I think that
And talk about the service at home.
So on the buy at home part, I think that it is our job to meet customers where they want to be. And a lot of customers just do not want to spend 3 hours here doing paperwork with me. They would much rather do it before they get here. And if you can do your credit online, you can get your trade looked at. You've already got the car picked out. So when you come here, you drive the car, we look at your trade, we put the deal together, you're in F&I within 30, 45 minutes.
It's really a verification.
Yes, it's a much easier process. You can see, are people buying cars at home? Some are, not very many, especially when it comes to Nissans. I'm sure high-end brands, many more. Some people are. Are people doing part of the process at home? Yes. I would say 50, 60% of the folks are doing part of the process at home. And for that, it's different for each person. Not everybody wants to do this. Like some people are like, oh, I'm never putting my credit online. Okay, no problem. But the rest of us are like, I feel safer putting it online than I do put it on a piece of paper. So, and there's a form in there. You can give me your driver's license. You can give me your insurance. You can give me everything before you get here. So it's a very seamless transition when you get here.
So what are your thought process when somebody comes into your dealership and says, hey, Justin, we heard those 2 knuckleheads talking on the radio. We're here to look at an automobile. I have excellent credit.
No problem.
Can you present me the numbers?
Yes.
Assuming I have excellent credit.
No problem. We're happy to do it. So,
and with that, we sent 10 mystery shoppers out over the last month, and they shopped all these dealers.
Yep.
Not one dealer, not one, gave them the information they were needed without pulling their bureau.
Well, they didn't shop with me then.
And I said, what's the deal? And they said, well, we don't want to give you some numbers that we can't attain, and then you get mad down the road because we couldn't do it. And there's the women. I have excellent credit.
Yeah.
I've already looked at my bureau, and they're, well, so would you look at freebureaus.com? No. I have my Equifax experience, which I have it set up on my phone.
Sure.
It gives me alerts and everything, what I need to know. And so I can walk in and go, hey, I just pulled my credit score this morning, but I still don't understand. Here's the deal. I'm going to pencil you assuming that you do, and if you don't, then you understand why things change.
So what we do is, so if on the first pencil, on the first presentation of the numbers, if we don't have your credit, we're going to use store averages, you know, and then we'll say, Mr. Credit, and we say, well, I have excellent credit. Yes, sir. If you do, then you can expect a better rate than what I'm showing you. We just want to show you what our store average is. And so for us, we'll present that first pencil at about 8.9% for 60 months, 9.9% for 72 months, you know, unless it's a car that we have a special rate on. So let's say like it's a new Nissan that's got a special rate. Then like let's say the special rate is 0% for 60, but if you don't have as good a credit, then it's 2.9 for 60 or it's 4.9 for 60. We'll show you all three, you know, so that you have an idea of what it is. Because a lot of times, I think to what you were saying, a lot of times I think people are smart. They want to get a general idea. They're not like, I need the payment to the pennies. They just want to get a general idea. And so we want to give them a general idea to do it. You know,
a good range.
Yeah. Years ago, when, you know, when Kurt and I first started selling cars, that's what we did. Your payment was $420 to $430. You know, we can't do that anymore. You can only quote like a $6 range now because of the laws.
Well, I used my sales manager line one time and it backfired. And the guy goes, I want a ballpark. I said, it's in Arlington.
Yes.
Didn't go well.
Got to have two of them.
Didn't go well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what rate is that?
Yeah.
He got up and he left. He went in the manager and I went, he goes, well, I apologize. I told him to say that.
Yeah. we and matter of fact, me and my sales managers, we had this conversation 2 weeks ago because, and I mean this with all, you know, Christian love and kindness and not trying to offend anyone, but, you know, the customers that won't give you their credit information, those are the ones I need. Those are the good credit customers. The folks that'll offer it up, I mean, they got tougher credit. They've been to 4 dealerships. They know, you know, and so we've got to have the selling skills to tell folks, hey, listen, it's no problem. What information you want to give me, I'm going to work with, you know. And, you know, like we'll ask people on a scale of 1 to 10, would you rank your credit? You know, oh, I'm an 8. Okay, it's no problem. Let me work on that for you. And then, you know, and do we have folks that say, man, I thought I had really good credit and they turn out to be a 650. Okay, 650 is good credit. It's just not as good in the bank size. But
there could be a lot of details in a 650 that your finance director could get with the lender and go, hang on a second. It was a 580. He's 650. Yeah. You can see the rebuilding of the credit. He's got good job time, good resident, blah, blah, blah. There's other elements for a good finance manager to make sure you're getting the best possible because you just don't want to sell them that one car.
No, that's
and they'll remember that they were over at Joe Bag of Donut Motors and they gave them 11%. You went to war for them and you got them 6.9%.
It's exactly right. And we have to be careful the other way too because people say, well, I got excellent credit. I'm an 800 Beacon. I got excellent credit. Well, you got 12 grand negative equity. That's stretching out the carry on this car. Your rate's going to be a little bit more because of the risk on the deal. So you have to. But I would say, man, we work first, second pencil a lot of times without having somebody's credit, or some people say, hey, I'm happy to give you my credit. Just tell me up front, you know, and we're happy to do it that way too.
Yeah, I found out at very early on when you ask people how's your credit and they say I don't know.
Yeah.
That's always a tough one because for me, I'm like, you know whether you pay your bills or not.
Yeah.
You know whether you're getting the phone call from the lender going, hey, you're behind or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But for the most part, the virus destroyed so many people's credit.
Yeah.
And most of it that I have seen is medical.
Right.
And so
student loans.
It's not that the lenders are saying we don't care about medical, but they look deeper into the situation to go, let's get these people financed.
Yeah. And there's a lot of things that matter. Your job time, how long you've lived at your house, your income, you know, the structure of the deal. You know, a lot of times people say, man, I got really bad credit. I can't buy a car. There's always a way.
Does a down payment can change it?
Oh, yes. Okay. All day, every day.
Okay.
I know some folks that had no business getting a car, but they had enough cash in it, and it helped them.
Equity of the bank is paramount.
Yes. Yeah. At the end of the day, the bank always makes the credit decision, and they're going to weigh it on the risk for them.
Right.
If they're willing to take the risk.
That's the bottom line, really.
Yeah. Yeah, but no, we're happy to do it that way. And I would tell everyone, man, if you're talking to a salesman and the first thing he's asking you, if step one to the road to the sale for them is, can I pull your credit? I'd get out. I just wouldn't be interested in that.
And we're here even on the test drive. Out of the 10 people that went out, and the dealers we went to 14 dealerships between the group, that almost 70% said, well, we need your Social Security number to verify who you are before you want to test drive. I'm like, you don't need a Social Security number on a test drive. You need your license and your insurance. License
and insurance, no Social Security. Now, sometimes if you're trying to get a payoff on their trade, you might need some of their personal information
Right.
to get that done. But usually you can do it on the phone with them right there and say, hey, would you put your social in for me so I can get your payoff? Because the one thing that people don't know accurately is their payoffs. They're like, oh, it's somewhere around 15 and it's 25. I mean, so,
Yeah, right.
it is good to have good information,
Right.
but we can work with you either way.
Yeah. Well, coming up, I want to
1 minute.
the listeners to hear what Justin has to say about shopping other dealers and what the ramifications of that could be if you're doing what we're going to be talking about. Coming up here on the next segment, Justin Crane joining us, managing partner here at Burleson Nissan, 35 in Renfro Road.
Renfro.
The great one, Big Wheels Bo Carver. Maddie back in studio. I'm your host, Kurt Chase, and we'll be right back. So, the new Genius they brought over from Lexus.
Yeah,
what are
Vinay.
you hearing?
So,
Seeing? What are you actually seeing? Forget what you're hearing.
man,
but-
I'm really excited. Honestly, I'm
Really?
really excited. So, he had a run with Nissan before. He worked in engineering with Nissan before, and then
Oh, really?
marketing before. He left, went and ran Volkswagen, then went to Lexus. I got to see him. I've seen him 3 times in the past 2 weeks. So, matter of fact, he lives here in Dallas.
Wow.
So they live up somewhere by Plano. I'm sure he'll be commuting back and forth to Nashville. But his family is not moving. His wife is a doctor, I believe, here in town, and they got babies, and so they're not going to be moving. But he'll be going back and forth. It's just no secret. He left one of the best manufacturers in the world to come to work for us, and I'm really excited about that because I think he can help us be more like them. And
so,
I
is
think
there
that's a really
anything that
positive
you've
thing.
heard him say that you went, I like that?
Oh yeah. So we had lunch up in Plano last Tuesday. It was the 4 general managers from my group and our CFO and a couple of executives from Nissan. And Nissan is a complicated manufacturer because of our Japan roots. And Japan, they don't do business like we do over here. They don't have inventories. They own Japan. The manufacturer owns half the company. They don't do that
Wow.
here, and so they don't necessarily understand how we do business here, and they don't understand our market, which is very volatile and it's changing every month. And so the one thing that Vinay said he's like, man, we have got to get rid of the layers. He's like, it is layer after layer after layer after layer to talk to the guy who makes a decision. And he said, we just got to get rid of that. He said, that is the one thing that the other big one in town, that they don't have that. They just make the decisions,
Right.
And we are Nissan's biggest market. The U.S. is their biggest market. It's their cash cow. It's their most profitable. And they probably need to give a little leeway to the decisions that are made. I'm thrilled that he's here. I'm thrilled about his marketing background. It's something that Nissan hasn't been great at. That we're better. We got a long ways to go. I think he's going to help us there. We had a call with the VPs this week, and I was on, I'm on their national committee, so I spent a lot of time with them. They were empowered. They spoke with authority, and I was so excited to hear that, because before they were like, well, let me check with so and so, let me find out. That was not the case this week. They spoke with authority, and that's what we need to get.
Well, if you
done
look
what
at
we
the
gotta get done.
changes with Nissan, when you were driving a 260, a 280, a
Right.
300, you were driving a Nissan Maxima. I
Right.
mean, it was a standout automobile.
Yeah.
And as they transitioned, that oomph kind of went away.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
went, sometimes it's best to stick with your
Mr. Chase?
grassroots platform and add to, but never get
Yeah.
away from your grassroots platform.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, when my buddy pulled up in that 280Z,
Yeah.
that was the cat's
Yeah.
meow.
Yes.
Actually,
Mr.
Vinay
Chase?
tells the story when he came back, because he was here when we launched Xterra, and what a standout model that was for Nissan. And Nissan has always kind of been we're the stepchild of the
on the
Japan
line.
3, and we just we're irreverent. No, that's the wrong word.
Was-
Irreverent. What is the word?
Irreverent.
Irreverent.
This is a
Yeah,
crazy
yeah,
question,
yeah.
but was Nissan once Datsun?
Yes.
Yes.
Same
45
company.
seconds.
Yeah,
Okay.
same company.
And how long?
Yeah.
That was a long time ago, though. Like
Well,
Back in the
early
sta-
70s.
yeah, they still own that. They still make
Yeah.
Datsun
Oh, okay.
in other places of the
Oh,
world.
okay.
Yeah, It's still a nameplate.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's
Yeah, people
cool.
think it went away. It only did in the United
Because
States.
I had a
but Datsun
Datsun
is still
260s.
Yes. Yeah. Same company.
Okay.
Yeah. Same company.
Yeah, the Zeke started with Datsun.
So,
Didn't start
yeah.
with Nissan.
Right, I knew
Yeah.
that.
And then they've got another brand that's in some of their Asian companies that starts with an M. I forget. And then they part own Mitsubishi. They part own
All right.
Renault.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because you look at
We have 15 seconds. Don't forget about Ralph.
okay, Nissan, Mitsubishi on the new EV truck
Yes.
that'll be coming out.
I'm not sure what that means, but okay, let's do it. Yeah,
Okay, Your Honor.
yeah. I don't know what that means, but
Okay.
I read that too.
Don Carl News says, love, peace, and soul.
And we might talk about it, but a lot has happened in the EV world in the past 3 weeks.
Oh, it
Since
has.
that article came out.
A lot has.
Yeah.
We've gone around and had EV discussions
Yeah.
around town, and
Yeah.
it's unique conversations.
It is very, yeah.
Hey, let's jump on the phone lines and bring on our buddy Ralph Paul. How are you this morning?
Absolutely wonderful. How you guys doing?
Hey, I want to thank you. After I fractured 2 of my vertebrae, if it wasn't for your CBD store in Keller, no telling what kind of medicines I've been on, but your new pain cream, the maximum strength, and the spray, which I brought with me today to make it through the show, has completely changed my life. My daughter was in tears. We almost lost her in a car accident about 3 weeks ago, and her face was fractured and some vertebrae, and that cream has taken Amanda off all the heavy narcotics and is actually helping her heal. So for everybody that's a naysayer, I'm telling you, I put cream on my back every day and the spray, my daughter on her face and her back, and our narcotics are no longer. In fact, 3 days after my accident, 3 weeks ago, I only took 4 pain pills, and I've not had a pain pill other than a muscle relaxer because of you and your products. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Well, that's such a rewarding experience. We get to hear those stories every day at our store, and there is really a big difference in CBD, and that's why we love people to call us or come in and talk to us and so forth. One of the things, we just sold out of all our mushrooms, and the mushrooms have been a very, very important part of our agenda, and we should get a whole new shipment on Wednesday. But the pain cream and so forth.
And they're not psilocybin mushrooms. These are mushrooms that help with inflammation and swelling. It's not the ones, the Cheech and Chong mushrooms.
He's been cooking with.
Yeah,
The one Bo eats every day when they come out of the cow patty.
exactly. That's where I get them.
Right.
And the other day, I've had a friend that's been a naysayer forever, and I loaded him up in my car at lunch and brought him over, and the cream has already made a difference. And he's also a PGA instructor, and he can't believe how much better his hand feels already just 2 days of using it.
Yeah, that's a great experience. Hopefully, I'll give him a call, and we'll talk to him here in the near future. Continue his journey.
No doubt about it. So you guys are located where and open till when, Ralph?
We are in Keller, in Old Town Keller. Our address is 255C, as in cat. And we're open every day from about 10 to 6, and we're off on Sunday. But we have parking in the back, and we would love to have you come talk to us and, enjoy your health journey.
That's right. It's not about the high, it's the health. They ship for free. All the QR codes are on there. You can find out everything you're ingesting or putting on your body. And you want to have the conversation.
You'll be out at the Connors Car Show, too, next week with your products, right?
Yes, sir. We're going to be out there. In fact, our staff just put together a huge basket
There you go.
For the auction.
How about that?
We'll be out there. It's yourcbdstorekeller.com. It's yourcbdstorekeller.com. Ralph, we'll be talking about you right after the top of the hour as well. I got a couple testimonies calling in about your store. So be sure to stay tuned in, and I'll see you after the show.
You got it. Thank you, gentlemen.
You bet. That's Ralph Paul, the owner of yourcbdstorekeller.com. I got to tell you, even though I'm having to wear a body brace right now, that product has totally changed my life with the extra strength CBD products that I've been putting on my body.
Well, I used the cream because I fractured my elbow in December on a cruise.
Falling out of a hot tub while he was drinking.
Cruise.
I'm not surprised.
Those mushrooms kicked in.
At least he didn't fall off the ship.
Oh,
Man overboard. Keep going.
Yeah.
Joining
forget
us,
that guy.
Justin Crane, managing partner here at Burleson Nissan, 35 in Renfro Road. And so One of the questions that I was told to ask you, there was two of them.
All right.
One is the guy said he doesn't buy into it going from dealer to dealer, and then he shows up here that you can't work a better deal.
Okay.
And I said, well, Justin can on a better price, but if Nissan's already made the call, you can't change the call.
Yeah. So, that's normally true unless the structure drastically changes, but usually that's not the case. Once Nissan, the bank, has given a call, they're going to give me the same call. They're going to give every dealer in town the same call. That
volume doesn't change the call.
Yeah. And, for folks that say, hey, I need to go shop 12 dealers. So literally all of us, we pretty much pay the same for all these cars, and everyone's going to sell for pretty close to the same price. When I see transaction prices, all of ours are pretty close to the same. Buy from a place who treats you right.
Whether you're selling 500 or 50, you all pay the same for the same car.
Do. Yes, we do.
And when Nissan gives you the call and says, okay, Kurt falls under tier 2, and he's at 5.9.
Yes.
Justin doesn't call and say, well, hey, we sold a bunch of cars last month. I need you to change the tier. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it's going to be the same,
And it doesn't matter if it's a different car that they might have looked at a different dealership.
Yes.
It's under a tier.
It's going to be the same thing, unless it's just a drastically different structure, which it's not going to be.
Right.
It's not going to be.
Unless their credit changed between the last dealer to you.
Well,
I think
the unfortunate part about that is sometimes we have customers that have visited so many dealers, and they've let so many dealers pull their credit and submit them to banks. By the time they get here, their scores dropped 150 points, and that's a real thing.
Right.
We saw a guy from Rowlett. He's a pastor at a church out there. He called me. I told him what not to do. On Monday, he had 32 inquiries.
Yes. Yeah.
And he goes, what do I do? And I said, you should have paid attention.
Yeah. You got to be so careful with that.
You don't need a Social Security number to test drive a car.
No, you do not. You do not.
You need a Social Security number to buy a car.
Well, you don't even need a Social Security number to even work a deal, really, right?
No.
I mean, until you get to that place, then you can move into actual getting the deal done.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah,
We have a new text message.
Do what?
We have a new text message.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so someone texted in, what is the best price to expect to pay for a new Lexus RX or NX 350? Should I expect to pay sticker?
No. And if you'll send me a message at theautomotiveedge.com, click on Ask Kurt, leave me your name and number. I've got a couple of people in the Lexus business that are discounting and not going sticker plus. Even when the new RX, the TX 350 came out, they were getting sticker plus addendums, and that's all gone with the dealers that I work with. You don't have to worry about that. So go to theautomotiveedge.com, click on Ask Kurt, send me your name and number, and I will get you with the right people over there.
And thanks for the text.
Thanks for the text. So one of the big questions come in, it says, how the heck, and it was HELL, do you shorten the delivery process because all this technology is overwhelming to try to understand? You drive off the lot, you go home, and you're so excited about buying the car. What recommendations would Justin give if you wanted to shorten the delivery process?
So two things. Both of these are Nissans. I can't take credit for them. So Nissan has gone to a tablet delivery. It's on an iPad. I wish they wouldn't call it a tablet because it's an iPad. And you can pick and choose what you want to on this delivery. So I need to know how my seatbelt works. Okay, well, a lot of people don't. I need to know how the navigation works. Okay, great. So there's the first part of it. And you can kind of go through that and see. The coolest thing that Nissan has done.
Like a custom delivery.
Like a custom delivery. But let me tell you, the coolest thing that Nissan has done. They have gone to, now we have partnered with a company, their name is Doppler, and we do a second delivery. Okay.
That's the weather people, right?
And these, very similar, very similar. When they get done with the weather, they go. And we're doing on Aria, and we're doing it on the 24 Rogue now, and they come to your house and they do a second delivery. Because the real truth about it is sometimes we're like, man, I know how to work it. I know how to work it. Then we get home and 3 days later, like, man, I don't even know how to work it. So they show up at your house and they will go over it with you again at your house. And like, I think that's superior to doing phenomenal. It because you don't know what you need to know.
Correct.
You know, because all of us don't want to admit we don't know how to work something, but a lot of times that's the case. We thought we knew. We get home, we're like, or they're like, no, let me show you. There's an easier way to do this.
Well, also too, a lot of people like I do. I want to get in the car and do and see what I can work.
Yeah.
before I find out what I can't work.
Well, when you
So-
look at all the consumer reports, JD Powers to whatever you want to look at,
Yep.
the number one complaint, because what they say, problems per 100.
Yes.
And some of the best cars still have 120 problems per 100. You're going,
Yeah.
well, that's a bunch of crap. It is, because if you leave
don't know how to
delivery
work it.
tape, that's a problem.
Yeah.
If this wasn't done, that's a problem. It had nothing
Right.
to do with mechanical or
Right.
anything. But the biggest problem that consumers were having were infotainment
Oh,
systems.
Yes. Because it's
And-
complicated.
Yeah, and so some people were going, you know what? I almost had a wreck on the way home and trying to figure out what I was doing
Yeah.
while I'm on the highway.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
it's very
kind of a dumb thing to do,
complicated.
but they were going, well, this thing popped up, and I'm going, that's where the delivery process.
Yeah.
For me, I'll just tell you a funny story.
minute.
I got a new vehicle, and I just throw me the keys.
Yes.
And I'm at Home Depot, and I didn't know how to open the back
Yeah,
window of the
I
truck.
believe it.
And the guy walked up and he goes, "What's the problem?" And I went, I was not going to tell him what I did for a living. He goes, "You trying to open that rear window?" And I'm looking all over. He goes, "Yes, sir."
The
It's the
button's
button
up
on the
there. Yeah.
He hits it, and I went, "I appreciate it."
Yeah.
And he goes, "All right, have a
Yeah.
good day."
We started doing these second deliveries on Aria with the electric car. Now we're doing it on New Road because we switched to the Google interface, and I'm telling you, customers love it because it's in their house, it's in their driveway, making sure their phones are set up, making sure their infotainment
Yeah.
is set up. Man, they love it, and it's really been a big hit. I think that's going to be a big. I think that's going to be a big trend in the industry in the future. And part of the reason is that these deliveries, people are like, "Oh, they take so long." No, they've just been here a while. They're
20
just ready to
seconds.
go. They're just ready to go by that time. So.
214-787-1971. Take a quick break. We're here today live. Burleson Nissan. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I had a buddy come up from Austin, bought an Aria, and the right city for that car. And, and he got that second delivery, and man, he loved it. He's like, man, they showed me so many things I didn't know how to do, and I mean, really, really loved it. So,
Well, you know what? I've always enjoyed watching the Texas Longhorns, especially when Earl Campbell
Yeah.
played there, and I can go through so many people. But I was just down there a month ago
yes,
because we're going to be adding ESPN Radio back
yes,
to our show.
yes,
I met a bunch of wackadoodle-doos.
yeah,
And so when I got down there and I met with 6 dealers, one of my buddy, Matt Cole, runs Howdy Honda down
Yeah,
there. He used
yeah.
to be with the Eagle Group here, good friends. And we get in there, we start talking about PMAs, and they
Yep.
have such broad
Yes,
PMAs
they
down
do.
there.
They do.
I mean, his nearest competitor is Round Rock.
Yes.
You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about anything. But I'm sitting there listening to them, and so 2 of the reps were there from certain manufacturers, and they were looking over everything. They said, well, I don't think we're going to encourage the dealer to sign with you. I'm like, well, who are you?
Right.
And he goes, we don't like the way you badmouth electrification.
oh yeah,
I said, well, why don't you expound on that?
yeah,
And he goes, well, we were tuned in, and we're in the meeting when they were talking about advertising and everything, and Matt and blah, blah, blah. Everybody was really big on it. He goes, why do you bash electric vehicles? And I said, well, here again, I don't know what your level of education is, but using the word bash would be
yeah,
false.
yeah,
I've driven everything from the Hummer to the Aria, because
Yep,
when you
yep.
first got
That's
it, I
right.
come
You
out
did
and drove
drive
it.
Yep,
I love the
Me
way
too.
they drive and handle
Me
and
too.
accelerate.
They're real cars.
You look down
Yeah.
and you'll be doing 90 miles an hour before
Yes.
you know it.
Yep.
The only thing that electrification that it doesn't work for my lifestyle.
That's exactly right.
That's it.
That's it.
So I can't. There's nothing wrong with this vehicle. You
Yeah.
look at it. Not only is it good looking,
Yeah.
it would do everything you want. As far
Sure.
I have a need for speed,
Yes,
and when you get in this thing, I mean, hold on. You know, one thing about Nissan that I will say that made Nissan different, starting back with the Z cars, is that Nissan delivered more torque than
They did.
any other product on
Still
the road.
do. Yeah.
And when I always thought that the most under advertised car in the history of the industry was the Maxima.
probably.
That Maxima delivered comfort, luxury, and torque like no other midsize car. Period.
Yes.
You got in that car.
It was
with
around
that
a long
V6,
time.
It was.
too.
Yeah.
and it will blow any car off the
It was.
road. It was
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. And we didn't hear anything from Nissan about it.
Yeah.
So you know what? I've always been a big Nissan fan, but even if it's not a Nissan, all these electric cars, I get phone calls. Hey, would you mind?
Yeah.
I do test programs.
Sure.
And the manufacturer, whoever will ship me a car, and I drive it and go, okay, great, great, great. When I drove that Hummer, I couldn't believe a 10,000-pound rig
know.
could move like
I know.
that. But it doesn't fit my lifestyle. So whatever you think you heard me say,
Right.
there is not a bad electric vehicle out there for people that need electric vehicles.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I mean, again, the same thing I've said about them. The technology is very cool. And this is always going to be a 10% of the market type car. The problem is that anytime that it's not consumer led and it is government led, you run into problems.
Right.
You know, and this has been a government led initiative. And if you take, you know, the problem is that everyone wanted to say, well, you know, it's Tesla, it's Tesla, it's Tesla, it's Tesla. Well, Tesla, again, they're a very cool car company. They're not a cool car company because it's electric. They're a cool car company because of their technology and Elon Musk.
Right.
And but if you do the study on Tesla, who is struggling a little bit
45
right now
seconds.
too, the all these people, they own multiple cars. They didn't trade in their family car to buy the Tesla.
That's right.
They just added it to their thing.
Well,
and that's the big difference there.
Well, the good news too is the fact like Nissan has a fabulous EV vehicles.
Yep.
You can deal with their dealer.
Yes.
Instead of trying to
Yeah.
go to Austin or someplace to try to get something done with a Tesla.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's really nice.
Well, you know, everybody fought because at one time when Tesla got here, they had no technicians, and they
Right.
were flying technicians in to work on your car.
Yes.
Right.
And I mean, it was just a big foobar, and the only places over there in Dallas off of
Off a
10
lemon.
seconds.
Lemon Avenue, coming out of the
Mockingbird, yeah.
coming out of Mockingbird. Well, right before you get to Lemon, coming out of the airport.
Right.
And that's where you got to go in there, stacked deep to get them in and out.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be a third
We're
car.
currently taxiing
Otherwise,
out
you'll
the
be waiting
runway
long.
and getting ready for takeoff. I don't see any turbulence, and we should arrive at our destination safely and on time. Thank you for choosing the Automotive Edge Airways, and I hope you'll follow us and use our services again in the future.
Are you ready for the show? I said, are you ready for the show? Ladies and gentlemen, the show you've all been waiting for. Please make welcome Kurt Chase and the Automotive Edge.
214-787-1971. That's 214-787-1971. You want to know where to go, who to see, what to do when buying an automobile? Go to theautomotiveedge.com, click on Ask Kurt, and leave a number. And one of my buddies wanted to give you a shout out. Clay Money brought his daughter over and they bought a vehicle, and he goes,
Yep.
you got to get Kurt involved. And I said, well, you know what? Even if I'm not involved, here's the owner, and he sits on the showroom floor, and I hear him asking all his employees, what about this deal? What about this deal? So-and-so coming out. What about your appointment?
Yep.
You're not the guy that just sits in the office and gets a check.
And, you know, yet another friend. He's the State Farm dealer in I think Midlothian. What's his name? I
Hayes?
forgot.
Judge?
No.
He got a car for his kid.
Yeah.
His daughter. I forgot her name. I'm so sorry. I forgot. But they bought a Frontier.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. They bought a Rogue. I don't know why I said
Yeah, they
Frontier.
bought an SUV.
Yeah, a Rogue for their daughter. He's the State Farm agent. Been a State Farm agent for 30 years
Yeah,
down
that's
there. You sent him to me. I forgot his name though. Super nice guy. Really, really, really nice guy.
Well, when you come into Burleson Nissan, just look to the guys got the super shiny golf clubs over
that
there.
never get
That
used.
never get
I should start renting them out. Do they do?
I said, you got all the Titleist hats
know.
and the cleanest looking golf
Do
clubs
they do a
I've ever seen.
BRBO for the golf clubs? I need to do it. I don't
Rent
know.
'em out?
Text
Yeah.
message.
What's
Do
that?
what?
We have another text message.
All right, go ahead.
So this guy texted in. He said, "Hi, my name is Mike, and I've been looking for a car for my daughter. Her car got totaled out, and we had a $9,400 payout. I'm having trouble finding something reliable with the 100,000 miles on it, maybe 130 max for that price. We're looking for something that has really good reliability ratings and has 250K, so it will last. I guess it can go 250K.
250K.
Yep.
Life.
Yeah.
Well, we're sitting in the right place. I mean, let's start with your Nissan Versa at under 19,000.
Yes.
You have the Nissan Sentra under 21,000.
Yes.
These are brand new vehicles.
Yes.
No addendums. You're good to go.
Yes.
And so, whoever texted over, go to theautomotiveedge.com. Leave me your phone number, and I've got a plethora.
Click on Ask Kurt.
Yeah, click on Ask Kurt, and I got a plethora of vehicles to get you lined up on, and we hope and pray that your daughter's okay, first of all, because we can always replace the cars.
Yes, and the used car market has leveled out a little bit.
It has.
Where there wasn't some $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 cars in the used car market a year ago, there are some now, and you can find some with under 100,000 miles, even some that have got certified warranties on them that you can feel good about buying.
Yeah, but I get asked all the time, when are used cars going to get cheaper? And I went, never.
Never.
Because the more expensive used cars get, when they become used,
Yes.
they're still expensive.
Yeah.
And so those days of, remember the old cash corrals we had?
Yes. Yeah. And
we
is.
had everything from 2,500 to 10,000.
And the thing that I think people forget too, the laws have changed and things have updated, and we no longer can sell some of those boxes that we sold back in the day.
Yeah.
We just can't do it, and they have to pass a state
Sled,
inspection. They have
hoodies,
to
buckets of bolts.
and we're just not in that business anymore. But
We got another question too. Charles Davis says, "Hey, these new vehicles, can they have two phones hooked up to Bluetooth at the same time?" He was just curious.
yes, I think Nissan's limit is 10.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, let me tell you this cool thing I learned this week. Well, it's not here yet, but this new QX80. Don't pay for that. Wait for the new Armada. It's going to be the same car. So the new this new QX80, they put speakers in the headrest, and so when you're on Bluetooth, the rest of the car can still listen to music while that person talks to you through the speakers in your headrest. How cool is that?
Have you seen the new QX?
Oh yes, it's
So
stunning.
they had a
Did you go look at it?
a private showing over at I'm not supposed to say where.
Yes.
And anyway, and there was another vehicle there.
Yes.
And
Very similar.
And I
white
got-
with the black top.
I got to see them.
Yeah,
and
stunning,
I was blown
huh?
away.
Stunning.
And so Infiniti, they are all in, because if you look at Infiniti sales, they really started dropping off. The only thing about Infiniti, I didn't understand that long nose on their vehicle. Now, whoever the platform and designer team is, now they're really designing a luxury
I know.
brand.
Yeah.
So you have Toyota and Lexus and Honda and Acura, and I mean,
Yes.
you just go down the list.
Yep.
And you never really had that big separation between Nissan and Infiniti.
I still don't think this one.
And so,
do you have any Infinity sponsors? Is it all right?
no, we don't.
So Infinity is a brand that has struggled to find its way.
Right.
And QX80 has been a big part of its business for many,
When
many
you
years.
have 60, 70, and 90,
Yeah.
and 80 model cars, you're going,
yeah.
there was too many numbers out there. And I think by
Yeah.
what they're doing is condensing a little bit and coming out with something like the QX80.
I had a lot of friends who are like, man, this QX80 is amazing. I said, yes, just wait 3 months and it's going to be called Armada. It'll be right here. So, they build those on the same line in Japan. They're the
That's right.
exactly same car.
Oh.
I've even joked because we've had a couple of them get shipped and they had the wrong emblems on the wheels. And then we had to get the right
That's right.
emblems.
It's
ordered.
cosmetics.
The new the QX80 that's going to be the new Armada, it is stunning. I mean, they really, really, we've never been able to give Tahoe a run for its money, and I do believe new Armada will give Tahoe a run for its money. So,
This segment is really picking up when you look at the QX80, what's coming out, which will eventually be the Armada. And you look what Toyota did with the Sequoia.
Yeah.
And you
It's
just go
stunning,
down
too.
the list. That
Yeah.
market is becoming very powerful
Yes.
again.
Yes.
Where, gas prices killed it.
Yes.
There was a lot of things that, you couldn't find them when
Yes.
COVID hit, blah, blah, blah. But that big SUV market. And you know what I found out? It was really interesting. I saw a study. And so I sent out a survey and a newsletter. And it's amazing how many people are going to the big SUVs or an SUV because of the lockdown, that they were traveling the United States with their
Yeah.
laptops
Yep.
and they got hooked.
Yeah.
And now they want the bigger vehicles to continue, even
Yeah.
though the kids are back in school, to get those trips going.
Well,
again.
I don't know about your family. My sister and her family and her kids travel. I mean, you got to take 5 bags for each kid. So it's not like, well, my parents had to buy Suburban because they had 4 kids. They didn't have a choice. But now with 2 kids, you got to buy extra space because
Right.
they got their soccer bag and their baseball bag and all this stuff. And so space is a big part of it. Big SUVs will always be a big part of it. And now, this new QX80 as well as Armada is going to come with a V6, and
Right.
it's going to be a twin turbo V6, which would drastically increase the fuel economy. So now this is a car that's going to get very similar gas mileage to a Pathfinder. That makes it a lot more appealing to
No
a lot
doubt.
of people. No more of this 12 miles to the gallon that we were getting with that big V8 Suburban.
yeah, a lot of them
years
are
ago.
either going twin turbo V6s or they're going diesel.
Yes.
And
Yes.
people are going diesel. I'm like, let me tell you,
Yeah.
this clean burning diesel is completely different.
It
Let it
is.
go.
Yeah.
It's fine. But the technology that's going out now to keep people in bigger vehicles is darn impressive.
Yeah, it is very impressive.
And they're not giving up anything. They're actually adding to
Right.
the luxury, the drive, the handling.
And the torque continues to increase and the horsepower continues to increase because, what was it? 4-speed transmissions. Is that where we started?
Oh,
3-speed transmissions. Now we're up to 12 and 15-speed transmissions. They just the technology just keeps getting better and better there. Yeah.
They want to know when it's coming out.
So the QX80 hits this summer, I believe June.
Right.
QX80. Our will hit September, so 3 months after that.
1 minute.
So really excited about it. Really, really excited about it.
No doubt
So,
about it.
Yeah.
Can you stay with us?
Yeah.
Super.
Let's talk about mine. I got a new car coming
214-787.
too.
Do what?
I got a new car coming too. Let's talk about that one next.
Do you?
Yeah.
197.1. That's 214-787-1971.
Call or text.
let's just kick Bo out. Me and you
Let's
do the
do
show.
it. Let's do it.
Send him home.
I want to drive the car while I'm doing the show.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to
do it
give you
up in the
time
tent.
out up there.
Yeah, we'll give Bo the
We'll be
tip.
right
Yeah.
back. Don't go away. You know, as we go around and starting this focus group is so cool because we get 8 to 10 people, and then they hit all these dealers, and
Yeah.
then we turn on the cameras, and I buy them all lunch, and we sit
Yeah.
around. It's still amazing how some people are just not caught up.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah.
that old school, do whatever.
Yeah. It is.
going-
It is hard. It is amazing how much old school stuff is still in our business. But
But it's all in the delivery.
right. There's new technology.
A lot of people
You
still
know.
have fog from the
Yeah,
years ago about
yeah.
dealers. They still have this, thing about.
And as they should. And I've said it many, many times. I always wish that I would have been in the generation before mine, a dealer in the generation before mine. These dealers that had dealers in the late 80s to the mid 90s, they just, first of all, they made lots of money. But they didn't treat people the right way.
Right.
And if they would have treated people the right way, our industry would be so much better today. We're so survey driven. We're so all these things that really shouldn't matter, but they do matter because of what our previous generations did to us.
You know, I remember my dad, he was the most penny pinching. I'll never forget the first time he handed me $1 and he said, go pick me up 3 packs of butts. So I go up to Hutch's grocer and I come back, and I bought me a piece of candy, and he goes, where's that nickel? I said, it's in my mouth.
Yeah.
Spit it out. I mean, he was tight.
Yeah.
My old man was tight. But I remember when I went with him to Freeman Oldsmobile,
Yes.
and he walked in, and Jerry Freeman met him,
Yep.
and there was a guy there named Ron Gary, and my dad says, I want that car. And my
Yep.
dad had a Olds Delta 88, and he
Yes.
wanted the 98
Nice car.
Regency.
Yes.
And so John went out, looked at his car, came back, and hand wrote a buyer's order, handed it to the old man. He went to Southwest Bank and Trust,
Yep.
got a check, and
Well,
came back. My
that's how
dad
you
didn't
did
say a
business.
word. And I asked him as I got older, because I bought his 98, I said, Dad, what's the deal? He said, it's all about the trust factor when you look
Yeah.
somebody in the eyes.
Yeah.
And I went, so what was the problem with that nickel on the butts? He goes, you should have asked.
Yeah.
And he goes, if you don't ask, you don't get, and then when you get it, can you trust what you're getting?
Right.
And I'll never forget when he said it. I told Ron Gary's years later, I said, he was the crustiest, tightest, meanest son of a gun in the world, but he trusted and believed everything he
how many
did. He
times?
goes,
How much you think he's overpaid with that trust?
well, no, you know what?
well,
you know what
we
Ron
had
said?
that trust?
He goes, I always made it fair because I knew your pops would come back, and he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you had those
and
in
I've
the
been telling people for years when we go through training with salespeople, you can go to JCPenney's and you can buy a dress shirt for $30,
Right.
and you can go to Nordstrom's and you can buy a dress shirt for $200, and those dress shirts are probably made in the same factory in China,
Right.
but it is all about the experience. JCPenney, they don't remember my name. Nordstrom's, they remember my name. They, it's a custom fit. It's all about that, and that's really what it was. And like when you think about it, when you think about Ford and Chevy and Oldsmobile and Buick, and when they got started 50 years ago, and they went to the smallest towns. And they put it, and they called it what they called the Ford House. I got to run down to the Ford House. I got to run down
Right.
to the Chevy
That's
House.
right.
They didn't go after big metro markets. They went after small markets, and they took care of the people in those communities. And people had lots. I mean, I know. I lived in Cleburne. That's where I grew up, and there was a Forest Chevrolet and OC Forest owned Forest Chevrolet. Everyone who lived in Cleburne, Texas, they bought at Forest Chevrolet for those 30 years that I grew up there, and because he built his reputation, and I would imagine most of those people didn't go in there say, oh, what's your best price, what's your best. No, it was the experience of supporting
Right.
their town and
35
buying
seconds.
that. And that's we missed that a little bit.
My dad was Mr. J.C. Penney's came to our home.
Yes.
And told my dad to come to Texas to start Penny's.
Yep.
And I'm at J.C. Penney's up on Heritage Trace, and I'm walking through there, and man, I'm just livid. And back then they had sporting goods, lawn and
Yeah.
garden. They had it all
Yep.
like Sears.
Yep.
Sears and Roebuck.
Furniture,
is what
all
it's
the
called.
stuff. Yeah.
And this guy pulls up on a Segway, and he goes, sir, how are you? And I said, I'm not worth a flip. He goes, well, I said, my dad is rolling over in his grave. And he
Yeah.
goes, and next thing I
10
look over
seconds.
and I see this entourage. And he goes, I said, there's no salespeople here. They don't know where crap is. This is a brand new store, and everybody in here ought to be fired.
Yeah.
And he stopped that Segway, and he got up, and he goes, J.C. Penney the third. And I went, so this is your problem. And everybody in this entourage was like, holy crap, who is this guy? But he goes, let's take a walk.
Yeah.
I said, the only reason you're going to approach me, I said, why don't you stand back? And he stood back, and he was just shaking his head. I said,
We would like to take
back
this
then they
time
had
to say
shirt
thank you
ties
for
on.
flying with us
They knew what their
today.
product
Here
was.
on
They
the
knew where it was. And these people now, they just
Flight
point or go.
101. Please
And
extinguish
it's really
all cigarettes and
self-service.
cigars.
Yeah,
Place
it
your
drives
me
feet to
nuts.
the upright position.
And so I used to love the staff
Fasten
purse
your
shower and the pin
seatbelt.
press line.
Please do
But
not
I don't
try to
go there on
exit through the
general
exit
principle
door.
that I just remember that upscale treatment. And I
Yeah.
loved it. Every one of us kids, when we turned 18, Jason,
Yeah. I drove by the headquarters last week because I was in Plano. I was going to the Del Frisco trip.
Information
I know.
heard here
And I
on the
saw it. It said
Automotive
JC
Edge radio
Penney
show
headquarters.
may
they
lead
kicked
you
them
to
out. They
find
went to a
a
small
wealth of
complex,
knowledge
and they brought in
that
their
possibly save you
president
time
of
and
9
money.
years.
If any of this information causes you to be bothered or upset, please sit back, relax,
That disclaimer
take a
for
deep
you, huh?
breath, and seek immediate help. Now, here's your host of the Automotive Edge radio show, Kurt Chase.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us. 214-787-1971. That's 214-787-1971. And I want to give a shout out to one of our great sponsors, Eldorado Chevrolet. Last month, they just received 8-time Chevy Dealer of the Year. And the staff out there, from Jason Long to Jazz Gill to Mark Welch, and all the people in between, from sales to service to parts and body, congratulations. And he'll tell you tire kickers are welcome. And what is his mantra, Bo?
The pressure makes diamonds, but not happy customers.
That's right. And so if it's a Chevrolet, it's Eldorado
had no
Chevrolet,
mushrooms.
380 and 75 in McKinney. Online all the time at EldoradoChevy.com. That's EldoradoChevy.com. And see why they're
We got a caller.
now 8-time Chevy Dealer of the Year. It's not just about selling cars. It's about from hello to congratulations and everything in between. That's EldoradoChevy.com. Who do we have with us on the Automotive Edge hotline today?
This is Weaver.
I'm sorry, who?
Weaver.
Weaver, how are you? What can we help you with today?
This is a two-part question, sir. I've got a 2013 Cadillac CTS, and I've got my fiance and her 20-year-old are like drooling over this car, and they want to give it to the 20-year-old as a starter car.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the V6 all-wheel drive. You know, it's got Cadillac construction, built like a tank, so. You know, it's a lot of car for a 20-year-old. That's one thing. What would you think about that from a safety perspective with a young driver? She would be a first-time driver at the age of 20. And then
And it's a she, you said? It's a she driver?
It is. That is correct.
Okay.
It is a female driver.
All right.
And as a college, she's a college student.
Okay.
And the next question is, I was thinking about going all electric, and I was kind of really tempted by the Tesla Cybertruck or by one of the Teslas with the gull wing doors. And I don't know what you guys think about those.
Okay, well, a couple of things. One is what's going to shock you the most is when you call your insurance company and you give them that VIN on a 20-year-old in college, what they're going to hit you on insurance.
Sure.
I've got a 19-year-old, and we're going to put him in one of our vehicles. The insurance company called it back. It was more than the monthly payment. Mm-hmm. And obviously, women get a little bit better rate than guys. Even though they're texting more and putting makeup on while they're driving, they're still getting a better interest rate. I had to say that because I got a friend listening. She can bash me here in a minute. But the insurance is going to be tough. And then, you know, your 2013 Cadillacs, what you ought to do is, unless you have a really good mechanic, look at the cost of ownership that car is going to present to you.
Oh, if I may.
I
apologize for interjecting. The Cadillac is my car.
Got it.
I've had this thing since 2013. It has approximately 59,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
I work from home and I don't drive.
Well, here I got a better idea. Why don't you just buy her a car and give me the Cadillac? I would love to have that Cadillac with 59,000 miles on it, and I would baby it because I'm a Cadillac fan.
Yeah.
Well, do you trust this young lady? That might be one of the biggest questions right there, of whether she could be a good driver or not.
I would have to teach her myself.
Okay.
And so, I mean, stepdad has rules and expectations that will be met.
You go, stepdad.
And that's just the way it is. If you don't like it, then you can go
You can go forage for yourself and get yourself a
I
car.
love
that's
that old
as old
school
as
thought
you are.
process.
I think you just answered your question right there. I think you just
Okay,
did.
you know, the whole thing I would call when you're putting a 20-year-old in a Cadillac, what that insurance is going to cost you,
Yes, sir.
because, I mean, back then in 2013, Cadillac was just about as safe a vehicle as anything out there.
Yep.
I mean, you got a big
Yes,
piece
sir.
of iron there, and I wouldn't be concerned with it. But check your insurance first. When you call them, give them the 17-digit VIN and see what your full
Yes, sir.
coverage is going to cost you. Might shock you being 20 years old. The all-electric, here's the thing. The truck you were talking about, I've got 6 buddies that have them, and they've already had problems with it on the Cybertruck, every one of them. And so they've been told that the fix for those Cybertrucks, they don't know when it will be. And so that's the whole thing. As far as the gold wing doors, I will tell you what, if you will Google servicing gold wing doors, because you know you have the Mercedes-Benz that has that as well, and there's a few other markets out there. You have the McLaren, and I forgot what the other one is that have those.
Well, the Lambo doors.
Do what?
Lambo doors.
Yeah, the Lambo doors.
All right.
Yeah, be very, very careful when you get into that. If you're buying brand new and you have the complete warranty on it, that's fine. But you got a couple of electric products that continue to have problems. And one of my buddies was told when he bought it, don't worry, there will be problems, but we will get them worked out. Now, I can't imagine being told that when I'm buying a brand new automobile, but sure enough, he's had 3 service problems, and every one of them's on hold. Because the question is, where do you bring, and this is not bashing Tesla, because I've driven the Cybertruck. I drove the Model 3, which has the 3 electric motors on it. You can get it with 1, 2, or 3. I loved everything about it. The first thing I would do would be paint it, but and put some really cool wheels and tires on it, which would void the warranty if you did, but that's just me. But do your due diligence before you do that, because there's so many other great electric products out there that are not having issues.
Yep. And sounds like you'd be a great candidate for
avoid.
You know, not
I should probably avoid the gold wing doors because I'll be paying more for a bigger set of problems.
Yeah, and then when you call your insurance and they know that you have the gold wing doors, that's going to jack you as well.
Yep.
All right, then.
And so there's a
I
lot of
appreciate your time, gents.
Yeah, there's a lot of great products out there, and if the 20-year-old gets a Cadillac, we'll be praying for it, and I hope that works out for you. But I love your old school mindset. I love it. More people need to hear what you just said.
Yep. Can't drive until you can change a tire and change oil.
There you go. Or they will be porridging for themselves. I love it. Have a great day, buddy.
Man, I wish my parents would have gave me a Cadillac.
214-787-1190. I'm sorry, 214-787-1971. And that brings me up to a great video where the guy, and boy, did he get bashed for it. He took, and his daughter went into the mall, and he let the air out of the left rear tire, and it was raining. And so the girl came out, and she walked around. She saw the flat tire, and it was unbelievable. She knew right what to do. She was checking her surroundings. She got on the phone. Her dad's watching. Hey, Dad, I got a flat tire. Where are you at? I'm at the mall. And he goes, well, you remember what to do? You know, Dad's watching. And this guy got destroyed for doing it. And so that girl jacked that thing up. She took the mat out of the front seat, put it down on the ground, put the other mat down where she could see. She got up there, jacked that thing, and she had to change in 20 minutes and put it back down. And they shamed him.
You think Kurt's changing his own tires?
For
not the shape he's in right now, for sure. But
and so they shamed this guy, but I'm going to tell you what. And then they talked to the girl. She goes, I can change the oil. I know how to torque a crush washer. And I'm listening to this girl going, what's wrong with this? What am I missing? If more people knew that, more kids knew that, I guarantee you
they'd be having less mechanical problems because they don't check their oil and they get low.
I'm not changing my tire. I'm going to tell you now.
Well, it was funny. I told my son to go out. I said, hey, check your oil and your radiator fluid. And I knew what was going to happen. So my wife has been in service for 30 years. And he goes, hey, Dad just told me to check the oil and the radiator fluid. She goes, we'll go check it. And he was just totally clueless. So I brought him out there, and I showed him what to do. And so the other day I said, hey, how are your fluids? And he goes, well, and I said, wrong answer.
Oh, well.
He came back in. He goes, I need an oil change, and my fluid's still green. There you go. And so my other boys, Zachary and Colton, they know how to change a tire and look at a battery. But now when you pop the hood of a car.
Yeah, I was going to say, I know how. It's just whether I want to do it. Now, there's a question to you,
well, you got 30 guys back there to take care of that.
I got someone that's going to help me change a tire.
They want an idea about the price of that new Ramada.
I don't know about Armada yet. QX80 is going to touch 100.
Yep.
I don't know about Armada. Right now, there's about $25,000 difference between the two, so I would imagine that stays pretty close to this.
Yeah, I would figure your mid 70s where it's going to come in at.
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
Yeah, based on I saw it was like 102. What they were guessing the CX-80 was going to be.
Yeah.
So
hey, I got a brand new car coming in June too. Brand new Kicks. So Nissan Kicks is a really successful car that we have now. That is an SUV that is smaller than Rogue,
right?
But it is an all new body style, and I'm telling you, probably we had they did a big ICE engine.
Okay.
They did a big launch. They did it with the TikTok, so I had to go get a TikTok to see it get it launched. It was stunning. It is going to be a fantastic car. It is going to have a huge following. It is a very nice looking car. It is going to be a little bit larger than the current body style Kicks. I wish they would have just renamed it because it's not going to look anywhere like it, but it's really exciting, and we are expecting some of those in late May, early June. So really excited.
They should have named it Stomp instead of Kicks.
They should have. Yeah.
Okay, you ready for a little trivia?
Let's do it.
Okay, so Bo made it. So we're going to do the Burgers Bash. I owe all the listeners that are going to show up for the Burger Bash, and we're going to announce that next week where we're going to be.
Oh, we are? Bringing that back?
We're going to bring it back.
All right, let's do it.
Now,
he's been wanting us to do it here in Burleson.
If Justin Crane can play along and do this, we'll do one here in Burleson.
We need to at Grumps.
And you get 3 strikes, you're out.
Okay.
But if you can name 4.
What kind of trivia is this?
Of the top selling used products out there.
Oh, okay.
Without getting 3 strikes.
Okay.
We'll do a Burleson Burger Bash, and I'll pick up the tab.
All right, let's do it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. All right.
Top 10, go.
Okay. Top 10 selling used cars, right?
Yep.
Toyota Camry.
Very good.
Honda Civic.
Very good.
Ford F-150.
Son of a gun.
Chevy Silverado.
He could probably name all 10, though. So stop it.
You left your own brand out.
Well, I don't know that I'm in the top 5, but Nissan Altima is going to be in there. It's going to be in the 10.
That's not one.
It's not?
Rogue.
Oh, Rogue, yes, for sure.
Yeah, Nissan Rogue.
Yeah, for sure.
And it wasn't certain. I mean, Nissan Rogue was, and they just put the top 10, not in any certain order. But,
and then, of course, Ram will be in there because of truck.
Yeah, Ram's in there.
You know, and then
another one.
Corolla will be in there. Number 1 selling car in America. And then Tahoe Suburban will be in there too.
Wasn't
probably.
in there,
They're in the top 20, but Chevy Equinox was in there.
Yeah, I don't know why people
and
buy
the Ford
that car.
Explorer.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
And
Justin, you act like you've been in business.
Well, let me tell you. Let me tell you why I do. I look at this all the time. I get CarMax's top 10 used cars sold all the time, because if I don't have those top 10 cars, I need to make sure that I've got them here on used cars too. Yes. Yeah.
So the used car market, a lot of people saying, when is it going to change? It's coming down, but there's some things that we want to throw in there as well when it comes to shopping for a pre-owned automobile. A lot of people going, well, it's too close to a CPO, it's too close to a new.
Sure.
But things have changed a bunch. We'll be talking about that and more. Don't go away. 214-787-1971. I'm Kurt Chase with Justin Crane, Big Wheels Bo Carver. We'll be right back.
You ever been on a cruise?
Oh, yeah. Over 50 times.
50 times. Wow.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Oh, really? Why?
So that new Something of the Seas that just came out?
Yeah, let's do it.
So my brother called and he goes, hey, we're going to take you and Melinda on a cruise. I went, no, you're not.
Have you ever been?
No.
It's nothing like you think it's going to be.
Dude, I don't understand how it floats.
Well, don't worry about that. That's not important. Man, I don't understand how the Earth spans and how we have an eclipse, but we did.
Yeah. So we go to Galveston and up pull that ship, and I'm just standing there going,
have you seen the Icon at physical?
I haven't seen it in person.
Have you seen pictures of the towers over everything?
Yeah, so Will, you met him from Big Wheel. Yeah. Him and his wife just got back. They took the second voyage of the boat.
Yeah.
And they were up. This thing had 15 stories or something.
It's more than that.
Yes.
And anyway, he was up on this area that was separated from Central Park.
Yes.
Going up.
Yes.
And he goes, so there wasn't the big crowds and kids and all the rest of it. And I'm going, how many stories? They got elevators.
I think it's 22.
Boat.
I think it's 22.
I'm going, and he showed me the picture looking out the room. I'm like, how does that thing float?
It's amazing. Buoyancy.
I don't get it.
How do you float?
Well, there's a lot here.
Yeah,
Same way. They manufacture it.
You're a cruise kind of guy.
I love it. Yeah, I love it.
How do you handle being around that many people?
The people don't. I mean, because it's so big, you can just get away from them.
Well, you can.
It's perfect for fat people like me. They got buffets, shows.
And how's the food?
Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Royal Caribbean now
Yeah.
has, or I guess the others can go there too, but they're on island now.
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
go to.
I mean, you
it
go,
is really cool.
You go to 4 or 5 places, you stop, you
Did
got
you throw up the first time you're on the boat?
No. You know, the crazy thing about me, I get terrible motion sickness flying. I mean, like terrible. I got to drug myself up. Maybe I need CBD. I don't know. I got to drug myself up to fly. That boat could get in a storm and sink and wouldn't bother me. I don't know. I don't get motion sickness on the
Really?
water. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so my buddy said, well, if you're worried about the big ships being kind to me,
Yeah.
he goes,
Go on a medium
I'm going to
one."
send you a package. So he sends me the Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah.
Do you know what it costs for two
Yeah.
people to
I've
take
looked
a
at it.
10-day cruise?
I've looked
I
at
was
it.
going,
Yeah.
buddy.
$500,000. Yeah.
I'm going, who does that? He goes, he said, it's only 48,000. I went, 48,000.
No, could you?
Isn't it like 48,000 a day or something? I think it's like $500,000 a week.
I'm going, there's
Yeah.
no way.
I know.
I said, I don't.
I'm telling you, if you've never done it, you should just try it. It's amazing. It's an amazing week. It is, Bo. Tell him a minute.
I thought it was,
well, he's
except
falling out of the hot tub. but-
I fractured my elbow
Yeah.
the first night, so I was a little under.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Did you see those people that were in South Africa and missed the boat?
yeah, that's their fault.
What about the guy
No,
that
They
jumped?
tell you it's late.
No passports,
See the
no
kid that's-
money, no
They
nothing.
tell you they're late, though. Yeah,
Kid that
But he
ju-
said they didn't take the ship excursion. They took their
that's
own.
right. That's why you.
And they
you-
pulled up
you
and they
stay-
said that boat was gone. I'm going, they can't leave the country.
Yeah, they.
I guess they have to pack up their room.
They have
and then
people
send it.
there. Yeah, they have people there that'll take them to the embassy. They'll be fine. Yeah, but that's why you do stuff with the ship, and that's why when they say, "Hey, we're leaving at 6," you better be there.
How long's the line just to eat? You got to eat 10,000 people
But
on that boat.
They got to figure they got 12 different restaurants.
Still,
but when you do, if you do the regular restaurant, they do time changes.
Yeah.
Like if
So
I
you got an appointment at
5:30,
7:15.
6:30.
and how do you sleep with the boat doing this?
Oh man,
You
great.
don't have. You don't feel
Sleep
that.
great.
You don't. Feel
These big ships don't move like that, though. They don't move. You don't feel it. They're too big.
And you
Not-
get out and you see nothing but water.
I
And you're
love
cool.
it. Yeah.
45
So
seconds.
And you have a
beautiful.
problem on a plane.
Yeah, for planes. Well, you can't see nothing on a plane. That's part of my problem. If I could see out that front window, I probably wouldn't get sick.
Would you live on a boat? Because I've seen
Oh,
people
yeah.
that they go.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
Go for 4 years on a
Last
cruise.
year they said 20,000 people bought lifetime boat passes.
So when I retire, it's getting closer every day. When I retire, I'm gonna go do the 1 year cruise.
that's
that
no
touches
way.
every port in
20
yeah,
seconds.
done. Yeah,
That's sweet.
yeah. I can't wait.
Wow.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
Maybe we
Yeah.
should go with him for a year and do
Yeah.
the
I
show
said, how do
from
you do
the
that? He goes,
cruise.
Kurt, they've got laundry service.
They got
you don't have to worry about eating.
We'll do the
whatever you
show
want, they
from
got
the
it.
cruise.
Pick up your
every
bed
day.
every day. It's
10
great.
seconds.
It's like a hotel on water.
It
I hear
is.
the shower. You can barely move.
No,
No, you
fine.
can move.
it's fine.
We should do the. We
Yeah.
should do that and do the show every
Yeah, we can just
Saturday
do
on
the
the
show.
cruise.
We could do a cruise show.
We could.
Yeah.
This
Now
equipment's
they're
good
playing
anywhere.
the
If I
Love
got
Boat.
internet.
That's a Love Boat song.
All we have to have is
Yeah.
internet. Love boat. There you go.
This is a little belly rubbing music. If there's somebody standing around that you love, crank up a little old Bee Gees, do a little belly rubbing. It'll make your day.
Christopher Gregory says, "Good morning, guys. Hope you're all having an awesome weekend."
Hey, Judge, how are you? We had Judge Charbonnet on with us earlier talking about having you two join us on the show here soon. Judge Gregory, what a beautiful family. He just posted the picture of his kids. I was
Yes.
like, wait, they were babies the other day.
I know.
And here, I mean, they go up quick. And then I looked at that picture with Justin. I said, man, how many kids do you have? He goes, they're not mine.
Yeah, they're not mine.
I was like, boy, he produced a bunch.
They're kind of mine, but I have a real special relationship with my sister and brother-in-law. They live right next door on our land there, and I've seen their babies every day of their life.
I bet you're the
yeah.
favorite uncle.
Well, they have two, so we got to be careful. But I'm definitely the favorite.
Well, the closer they get to driving, he will.
Yeah.
be the favorite.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Phone lines are open, 214-787-1971. That's 214-787-1971. And what's that passcode?
3552.
Is that your ATM pin, too?
What'd you say, Maddie? We have a call?
No, we have a message.
Go ahead.
So, somebody messaged in, why in the world can't a manufacturer make a plain Jane truck mid or full sized for 20 or 22 grand?
It's a very
Just a
good
truck
question.
with AC and radio.
Very
I would be first in
good
line.
question.
I have been thinking about getting a truck of some sort. Depends on what I could get for my 2017 Camry I have. Just turned over 45,000 miles in very good condition. Should I go to the website and ask Kurt? Saw a nice Frontier at Burleson Nissan and Trophy. Thanks, my name is Ken. Have a good day.
Yep.
Excellent.
Well, here's the thing. We sent out a survey.
Do we have time to talk about voting? That's why we don't have $20,000 trucks. Yeah.
We sent out a survey to 1,000 people, and get this: 90%. You remember what wing windows are?
Wing windows, yeah.
Wing windows. That's where you pull the little flap and you turn it to
Did
get
you
the
used to
air
smoke
in.
out that window?
Yeah, of course,
that was
put your little
yeah.
cigarette out
Yeah.
Or if it was cool, you could turn it
Yeah,
and
that's
vent
right.
it,
Yes.
vent the car.
Yes.
And so with 7 kids, my mom had wing
Oh,
windows.
yes.
But you know what? It was amazing how many people said they would love a basic stereo,
Yes.
air condition, and
Yep.
crank windows,
Yes.
and not have to deal with anything.
Yes.
And the numbers were staggering.
Yeah.
And this went out from people 25 to 75.
Yeah.
And even the younger people said they would love the less complicated vehicles.
we get asked all the time, and obviously the real answer is because of our government and because of what is required to be on a car. In 2025, every car sold in America will have to have pedestrian detection.
Right.
So that keeps you from running over someone. And all these things that the government continues to require, on cars. It started with seatbelts, and then it was airbags, then it was side curtain airbags, then it's floor airbags, then it's ceiling airbags, and now...
And that's all government regulated,
it's
right?
all regulated. And
now even with the electric cars, they want modifications.
That's right.
Where the electric cars make noises going down
That's
the
right.
road so they can be heard.
Yeah, that's right. The good old days when you could just charge the air conditioner in your driveway. The reason you can't do that today is because of government requirements, and they just continue to increase the requirements on these manufacturers every year. And that is the reason that a $20,000 truck doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Is because of the amount of technologies that they're required to have. And it just continues to grow. And
Where
when
you don't
look
have
at
to
it,
pay attention, you don't have to worry about anything.
Right.
But you know what? In fact, when I've talked to Judge Gregory and Judge Charbon and the rest of them, going, what if somebody comes into the courtroom and says, Your Honor, the car didn't do what it was supposed to do,
Right.
and that's the reason for the accident. You know what he still says? You're in the driver's seat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And so
that's right.
and what the government is imposing on the manufacturers really puts them in a odd spot of where I went right and where I went wrong.
Yes.
And leave it alone.
Yeah.
And you know where the backup camera started was that lady. She went to Congress.
Yes.
She ran over her kids.
Yes.
And she said if there would have been more safety equipment on it, she'd have
Yep.
never ran over kids.
Yep.
Well, here, let me help you. My mom had 7 in a Country Squire station wagon,
Yeah.
and she didn't run over none of
Even
us.
though she would
Well,
have loved to.
She had something to spare. Yeah, she had something to. Yeah, my mom ran over us and still made us get back in the car.
The way they're designing them, you think that you have no responsibility.
Right.
And you blame somebody for your own mistakes.
Yeah.
And when you go back in time, guess what? There was less problems
Yeah.
with less stuff on the
Yeah.
vehicles.
Well,
Yeah.
now they want to put, something in that reminds you to check the back
Yeah,
seat if
yeah.
somebody's important.
But
It's crazy.
I mean, it is continuing. Lanes change technology, all these things, and they're all coming, and it continues to grow and continues to grow. I'm a fan of technology. We've joked about it before. I like these self-driving cars. I'm a big fan of it. And when we get to a point in society when my car talks to your car and your car talks to Bo's car and Bo's car talks to the street light that's changing for the people to cross, the fatalities is going to go way down, and so that
I'm not
that's a
gonna
good
talk to Kurt's car, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, block him.
The big thing with me is, and they showed the one guy that demonstrated where he took control over a self-driving truck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so the hackers and the
That's
things
the
that
big
are coming down the
problem with that.
pipeline without the safety measures put in place,
Yeah.
that's what concerns me the most.
Well, yeah, but I'll tell you, if you drive a car with the lane change technology, I don't really know how to use mirrors. I haven't used mirror in years. If that light's not on, then I move over. If the light's on, then I stay in my lane. And so I think that
You'd laugh at
technology.
me because I got buckets. I
You
put
still
my hand
looking
on the back
around?
bucket. And I'm
Yeah.
looking around, and my
Yeah.
wife, who's been with Stellantis for 30 years, she goes, "Why do you do that?" And I went, "Why do I do what?" I'm old school.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you told me you're part of that, I see it come over there, clapping their hands. We
Yeah.
will rock. I'm going.
Yeah.
That's Justin Crank. He's all in on that whole deal. I can't let go of the steering.
And
you know what? One
now
thing
I
on
need
my
a-
car I've never used:
What's that?
cruise control.
Oh no, I gotta have cruise.
Even when I go to
I gotta have
Galveston?
laser cruise. Because the car in front of me slows down, I want it to slow down. And now I need a new F-150. Because if you've seen this, it can back up trailers for you now.
Yeah.
I'm not really
Yes.
great at that, so it would be really great for me if it would back the trailer up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm all in on the technology.
And now they have the trucks with the
But
bird's nest where if you have a trailer behind you, you can still see the cameras behind the trailer.
But we're paying for this technology, and it's going to continue to drive the price of the cars up. The thing, and because people say all the time, well, like, man, I saw, Nissan Frontier. They make one, and it's called the Navarro. Looks just like the Frontier in Mexico, but it is half the price. They said, well, why? I said, well, it doesn't have airbags. It doesn't have anti-lock brakes. It doesn't have all the things that are mandatory for, to have here in the thing. And the other part of this that we got a call last time about electric cars, but the other part about it is this emissions. Emissions is the other part that is really driving up the price of these cars, these emissions requirements. Cars 10 years ago, they didn't have all this, they just had a muffler. Now it's got to have, catalytic converters on each side and all the other stuff. The emissions is going to continue to drive the price.
Yeah, well, it started out with LEV, which was low emission vehicles.
Yes.
Then it went ULEV, ultra low. Then it went SULEV, super ultra low. And I'm going, boy, we thought regular Tide was really jumping a mile.
And now zero emissions. That's what they say on the back of the Arias and stuff. Yeah.
My whole deal is what bothers me the most. You got 535 people sitting in Congress telling us what we should drive when they've driven a debt of $34 trillion.
Yes.
Why don't you figure out the debt and let the people decide what they want to drive? Because as long as you've been in the business, and I have, every time a product didn't work, the manufacturer got rid of it.
Yeah.
And they went, and there was one, I remember, it had a 388-day supply.
Right.
And it was the PT Cruiser.
Yeah.
And Chrysler went, ruh-roh. They put back then the largest rebate in history, which was $5,000. They sold everything.
Yeah.
But it never came back.
That's right.
And so I'm going, let the people decide. And the thing about it is, where's the accountability with the American people to go, you got to pay attention while you're driving.
Yes. No doubt. Somebody texts in really what happens when that technology fails. And that's why you got to have a driver in that seat. That's why you've got to make sure that stuff is happening, and we're seeing it, a little bit right now. The American people have drastically resisted this move to electric vehicles.
Yep.
And the brakes are on right now on this electric vehicles. Toyota, the biggest manufacturer in the world, said, hey, we're not getting in that pool. We're just not going to do it. Ford, who's the number 2 manufacturer in the country, or in the world, really, they just said, hey, we're kind of done. We're going to back way off this. We're going to sell what we had, and we're going to rethink our plan before we make some more.
Yeah, they went idle on the
they did.
Lightning for
they did.
a very, very, very long time.
So, we'll see how that continues to progress.
Well, Judge Gregory says, so what happens when the lane change assist malfunctions? It is the driver's fault for not double verifying that in the
no
clear
doubt.
merge.
Yeah,
so
no
that
doubt. Yeah, no doubt.
A ticket or a problem.
That's why.
Be responsible.
And that's why.
Yeah, could you imagine going in front of the judge and going, hey, Judge Gregory, that lane assist didn't work. I don't even know why I'm here.
Yeah, that's
You're
exactly
out,
right.
buddy.
Yeah.
You're behind the wheel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that, here's the thing. Leave well enough alone, because the manufacturers know that they want, to be producing clean burning
10
cars.
seconds.
Yes.
This is no big secret. But the mandates that are coming up, that's why you see, I remember when we saw 36 months go to 48, we were doing cartwheels. Then we went to 60. Now we got 84. Now they're talking about 96 by 2026.
It's happening now.
Wow.
Yeah, not here, but it's happening.
Let's take a quick break. 214-787-1971. We'll be right back. So my buddy, I've told the story before, he calls me, he goes, hey, could you check out this buyer's order on my BMW 7 Series out in California?
Nice.
108-month financing.
Yeah.
I said, you know what? I just hung up, and he goes, did you hang up on me? I said, I can't talk to stupid.
Yeah.
And he goes, well, Kurt. And I'm like, no, don't will, Kurt. Why would you 108-month financing?
Yeah.
Just impress somebody.
Well, the thing about it is, and the reason why we've gone from 36 to 48 to 60 to 70 to whatever is because the vehicles are getting so expensive that's the only way an average family can pay the monthly payment.
But strictly going back to Justin's point, because of mandate.
Well, and I would say too, vehicles are much better today.
Well, I'm not going to.
The cars from 40 years ago were not going to last as long as what they will last now. So.
A lot of them are still out there because you can't get rid of them.
How well does lane assist work on dirt roads?
Well,
good point.
I mean, it'll help you dodge those cows, if they,
Right.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's Art Naismith, our buddy from Lufkin, Texas.
I just think that the technology is created
Isn't everywhere
laziness and havoc.
Oh, yeah. That's why I love
it. In so many ways. And for me, that infotainment system, I don't even use it.
See, I don't use.
But I
don't
do.
even use. I don't even use the back. The what do you call it? The
backup camera.
I don't even use it.
Oh yeah, I do.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't. I look in the rearview mirrors. I turn like Kurt does, and my wife goes, "What is wrong with you?" She said, just look at that right there.
I
Even
like
my
the,
son,
I
if
like
I
the
pull my truck
technology.
in, he'll go get the keys and back it up. And he goes, Dad, you know how simple it was to back it up? And I'm like, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's so much simpler to get out of the driveway. So I have no problem getting out of the driveway.
Yeah,
So do you haul trailers?
I do sometimes.
And do you have backup? You use all the technology with your trailer?
Yeah, I try. I can pull a trailer forward, great, no problem.
Yeah.
I got to get my brother-in-law to help me back it. So we got 2 goosenecks, a 40-foot and a 26-foot, and
That's a big trailer.
yeah. We have all these ATVs and tractors and stuff. We got to move
that's
every now and
cool.
then.
How much property you got?
So 50. Yeah,
Is that in Cleburne?
and Grandview.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Do you do all the mowing on your property?
So, well, we have cows,
Oh.
so they do the mowing. Now I mow like around my house.
They
We
do
mow
the
like
mowing
the 3
too,
acres
right?
around my house,
Yeah.
and their house. And I got a 0 turn. I mowed yesterday. That's why my eyes all red. I don't know.
You
I
like
guess
to mow?
it's- I love to mow.
Me too.
It's the best 3 hours
Did
of
you
my
come to my
life.
house? Because I hate mowing.
Yeah. It just, man, I can just zone out for a few minutes. I put my headphones in, listen to a book, listen to music, and just mow.
My wife says, why do you mow the yard? I said, it's so good for me to be. I love yard work. I love it. But now with,
yeah.
going to have to have the doctor take care of my back.
Yeah.
It's
Have
put
your
a
doctor
cramp
come
on.
mow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got a 19-year-old kid. Make him mow.
He won't do anything. He is still on. I think he still breastfeeds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
The last time it was so funny. My wife goes, "Don't worry about it. I'll mow the yard." I came home and it was worse than a bad haircut.
Yeah.
I said, what did you do
so
to the yard?
I don't. So my brother-in-law, I love him. One of my best friends, and but I mow. Because man, he can't mow straight. I'm like, what is that? Now he weed eats. Now, to be fair, he weed eats, and he can weed eat and
Makes it look like the outfield in a baseball where it's
it looks
all.
great. But me, I'm like, we got to mow the same direction.
So we have a
Can't do-
comment here. It says they are trying to make it rental market, just like home ownership costs being so much to own. And then that's kind of where things are going with a lot of leases and stuff. People like to lease.
Well, what's amazing,
they
if you
can-
look at the average lease right now in April 2024, the average down payment is
25 seconds.
$6,100.
Yeah.
And people are not jumping on the lease wagon. They're not.
Now-
Tax credits are almost.
We've seen the lease
nil.
market rise in the past 60, 90 days. It is starting to rise. I think it will continue to rise as these. The problem with the lease market is that these manufacturers are guaranteeing what it's going to be worth in 3 years, and they don't have a clue. But I think everything's settled out enough that we're going to see residuals and rates come down, and I think leasing's going to pick up big in this year. That's
I'm
my
hoping.
That's my
I told
prediction.
everybody there's nothing better than when you're in the unknown, and
Yeah.
especially in an election
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
to lease a car. And then everything's locked in. You
Yeah,
don't have to worry about
that's
it.
true. Yeah.
Don't see any turbulence, and
Yeah.
we should arrive at our destination safely and on time. Thank you for choosing the Automotive Edge Airways, and I hope you'll follow us and use our services again in the future.
Are you ready for the show? I said, are you ready for the show? Ladies and gentlemen, the show you've all been waiting for. Please make welcome Kurt Chase and the Automotive Edge.
214-787-1971 is the number. That's 214-787-1971. Okay, so I'm going to ask you, do you know what the Cavea is?
The Cavea?
What about the Gesera?
No.
Cavea is like an escalator.
What
isn't it?
about the Rivero?
There used to be a Buick model, right?
Well, that's the reason why they've only sold one car.
I don't know what
And
that. What is he asking us?
That is the Karma Automotive.
Oh.
And they sold so far in 2024 one car.
Okay, well, first of all, if you name yourself Karma Automotive, you're off to a bad start before you get started.
Because all they got to do is put bad in front of
like
it.
that doesn't seem like that's a smooth
Yeah,
move
it's
right
kinda-
there.
And then I sit here and I look. Fiat sold 154 cars this year. How the heck are they still here? I don't get
Well,
it.
they're not. They're getting rid of all that.
I remember when a buddy of mine got a phone call that Fiat was going to give him $1 million to take the franchise of McKinney.
He took it quick, didn't he? Took that thing and ran. Yeah.
Oh my gosh! It became Hopper Motors. Gary Hopper.
I know Hopper.
He took it
Yeah,
over.
He's a big wholesaler. I know Hopper. Yeah, super nice guy.
So here's the thing: with everything that's going down, people say, "Hey, what's going on with Buick?" Well, Buick numbers are way up, but why?
Yeah.
Because people they want to get the ICE cars because Buick's
Yeah.
going all electric after 2025. So is Cadillac, so is Volvo, and then you look at the numbers
I think they
on.
put the brakes on a little bit though, because I know the 2025 Escalade and the 2026 is not going to be all electric.
What was scary though is you look, 132 Cadillac dealers surrendered their franchise.
Yeah, they
Buick
did.
131.
They did. Yeah,
and growing, and they're going. Plus the remodels, and you look at the guy next door. He built a dealership 5 years ago and just spent a couple million to remodel it. I'm going.
I know. I need to.
I get the fact that some stores need to be updated, but a total remodel does not change sales. You remember the guy out in Tyler? He used to say, "If I know you're coming, I'll
meet
here."
You. Yeah,
I'll meet you.
Yep.
And you pulled up, and that thing had wood paneling. It looked like if you pushed on the dealership, you'd knock it over.
I like it.
And he was one of the top Corvette and Chevy pickup truck dealers around. So I think it really becomes personnel. Obviously, you need to have the place.
It's got to look clean. It's got to look nice.
But multi-million dollar makeovers when you have a store that. I've never understood that.
But we've asked that question. You've asked that question before. Of people, would you not buy from a dealership that wasn't all super fancy? And they say no. If it's a good quality,
they said they'll pay less at one that's run down.
Yeah,
and get good service.
Incredible mindset. Yeah. Because I still believe in the 3 Ps. It's about people.
Yep.
The product and the process.
Yeah. I will tell you, I'm going to remodel. I just keep waiting for construction costs to come down. Maybe I'm dreaming. Mine's going to be $4.5 million. Now, part of it is I need more service space.
Maybe January of next year. You might have a shot.
I need more service space, so that's a big part of it. But part of it is I am doing it for my employees because when they built this building, they didn't think that 80 people were going to work here, and we don't have enough restrooms and we don't have enough break rooms, and so some of that is part of it. Why we're doing it, to make it a better place for our folks to work here. So, yeah.
So we've talked about this before. If the government calls Justin Crane up and says, "Hey, Justin, obviously Buttigieg doesn't know what he's doing. He's never probably driven a car. We don't know for sure, but they put you in charge of the auto industry.
Mm-hmm.
What immediate changes do you think need to be made to make the industry more viable?
Yeah. So that's a really good question, and that's right now that's the question that's being asked because the auto industry is very scared. There is a good portion of our country that thinks we're going to flip administrations in November, and there's a lot of folks who think that we won't. And obviously, there's a certain side that they have been much more open and pushing towards these electric vehicles. And the other guy who says he's running, he said he's going to kill that on day one. And part of the problem is we can't run our companies like that. I feel bad for the automotive manufacturers right now because they don't know what next year is going to bring. If a new president comes in and says, "Hey, we're done with electric," they've invested billions in a thing. We've got to level that out. The EPA issues new requirements every 2 years. That's not that they can't design and build cars in 2 years. They've got to do a better job with that. We've got to slow that down a little bit.
How about if they just get out of the business altogether?
Well, and they got to think. No, I think there's a place.
Government.
Yeah, I mean, I want the government out of my life.
There needs to be.
There is a place for oversight,
right.
And there is a place to build safer cars, but. All of us know if they would have took this billions of dollars that they've taken to develop electric and said, "Hey, we got to build a better ICE engine and a better transmission," we could have cars that get 80, 90 miles to the gallon, And so I think that's where it's at. The Secretary of Transportation, the Transportation Department, they need much better leadership for these folks to help them in the next couple of years. Because
I think what they're forgetting is you're the number one employer in the world.
Well,
you take the auto industry, when you add so many things in, not only all the products, but the dealers and the manufacturing. They double the medical field.
Yes.
And as far as employees, and I think when we take our eyes off it, go and realize how many jobs you're actually going to kill by what the government's setting in. I had lunch with the old president of Toyota when he brought everybody here from Torrance.
Yep.
And he goes, "This will be the last thing you'll hear from me." He said, "There's this giant rabbit hole that you will never, ever, ever see the bottom." And you know what that is? And that's what he said, electrification.
Yeah.
He said, "You'll never see the money or the benefits rising out of it." He said, "You've got to let the consumers decide on the consumers." And then you turn around and look what Honda just did. Honda said, "Hey, we're cutting back a percentage of invoice to sticker, which is dealer profitability, to rat hole this money down the road for electric technology." I'm going, let's not do that.
Yeah. Well, and that's so. Two things that you said is part of the issue there too. Inside of our 50 states, we have different emission requirements inside the 50 states that should not have been allowed. California and Washington should not have different emissions than the state of Texas.
Right.
And then we got to remember that these manufacturers, even though we like to call them ours, they're global manufacturers, and when they have to build a different car for California than they have to build for England, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
When it comes to the engine and emissions,
Because the cost gets spread out.
That's right, and we have to stabilize that, or a guy that I respect a lot says it's going to have to be great consolidation, because all these manufacturers can't stand on their own if the government's going to continue to change the rules every 6 months. And that's really what the government's done right now.
Yeah, because you look, Washington, Oregon, California, and Nevada, ICE cars will be order only.
Yes.
And I'm going,
yeah. And
really?
And the real truth about that, we all know, and we all saw this coming, they're going to have to back up on that. I read this story one time about LAX. In LAX, I forgot how many flights come and go. I think it's the second busiest airport in the world. The amount of but like they rent out over 600,000 rental cars a day. They would have to have their own nuclear power plant to charge, because they'd have to have 1.7 million rental cars there a day to charge them all. I mean, like, it's impossible. Like, it just cannot happen. And they always say, like, I always laugh because they say put the cart before the horse, because
Right. I was gonna say
but
that.
I mean, we can't keep the power on in certain states already, but yeah, we're like, man, electric's the way to go. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And I'm not against electric technology. I think it's a very cool technology, and I want it to be a big part of my business, 10-20% of my
let's
business.
do baby steps.
But there's other things that are, and we sell a couple a month. I think it's a fantastic car. I've driven one. I've got a bunch of friends that drive one. I have 7 employees that drive one that work here.
It seems like that the hybrid, though, is really what's really taken hold that people really love.
That's how I feel.
Well, it's had a 300% jump. Hybrid
Right.
technology, starting in January to April, has had a 300% jump in sales.
All of us, whether it doesn't matter what we believe, all of us would like to take better care of the earth, and less fossil fuels is better care of the earth. And if I can get a car that goes 600 miles to the fill up, I'm all in on that.
Well, who wouldn't be?
There's a big way to go. But again, I'm all about consumer choice. We can't push people, into cars that they won't want. And I think that's why you see states like California and they're just losing the amount of people that are moving out of those states. They just
But then you
can't make
force
it
the
work.
people to hang on to their cars longer, which punishes the dealership, which punishes the manufacturer,
which is worse for emissions, which is worse for the environment.
Everything.
Yeah.
And you're right. And they have the older cars are keeping longer.
Yeah.
I mean, at a point where we're at 11.2 years of ownership. That's not good.
No, it's not good. And we are right now, the oldest cars that have ever been on the road are out there right now. And that's not good for lots of reasons.
So we're going to look like Cuba in about 10 years, where they got all the old cars still out there making them run. And then you look at all the mom and pop shops, they're gone.
They're gone.
You just and what do they do? Go build solar panels? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. We'll get things wrapped up. 214-787-1971 live, Burleson Nissan, 35 and Renfro Road. Things are hopping. There's a reason why. Come by and meet the staff and check out the new Nissans. 214-787-1971. Quick break. We'll be right back. I get so frustrated because I've been to a couple of lunches where they've had a congressperson there.
Yeah.
And, boy, they just passed the buck that quick.
I know. Well, but in all honesty, I got to go to this really cool thing about a month and a half ago, and I met Rodney Slater. He was, they call him Secretary Slater because he was the Secretary of Transportation for Bill Clinton. And I was just really impressed by this guy. He's a very smart, very, very sharp guy. I really, really enjoyed talking to him. But we got to remember that it's not so much our elected representatives that are making these rules, but it is the bureaucrat agencies, all the bureaucrats that work for the EPA that are making these rules, all the bureaucrats that work for the Department of Transportation that are making these rules. It is very fuel. This new, in June, there's going to be a new finance law it's not a law, it's the new finance rules that dealerships are going to have to abide by that's coming down. It was not passed by Congress. It was written by the finance departments at the government. I mean, we have a bureaucracy problem. And
but you look at the Consumer Protection Bureau. That's
who I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's not a government agency.
Right.
That's just a group they put together. And you know when it originated? When the gentleman up there in Minnesota was the first one to put tracking on and off switch on cars.
Yeah.
So if you didn't pay it, you got a green light, and then you got a yellow light, and then a red light, and you had 15 minutes to go get somewhere safe.
Yeah.
And they said, well, he's going after the minorities. He's going after, look, you have an option whether you wanted to buy the car or not.
Yeah.
And so that got started, and next thing you know, they put a small group together to oversee it, which now grew into the Consumer Protection Bureau.
Yeah. And they're very empowered.
Oh, way empowered.
Very empowered.
And what causes that empowerment? Just the public?
Well, the government has given them authority.
Okay.
And then, they report to the whatever committee that Maxine Waters is the chair of, and she just gavels approval of whatever is coming through.
Yeah,
and
they never say no to them.
There's some things, we were talking about this at the beginning of the show, that, hey, can you give me payments if I tell you a thing? If this law passes, I will no longer be able to give you payments without looking at your credit, because the law says I have to pull your credit first. So, there's a lot of things that are just idiotic that are coming, and they think that they're doing a lot of these things in the name of protection, and they're just not protecting people.
Yep.
It's really gonna make it worse.
Well, they never wear our shoes.
Right.
They just hear whatever, and they never wear our shoes. I always told people, when I was running dealerships, and I had some of the people that came in that were in political position. I said, you have no idea the sacrifice that's made away from family, friends, and significant others to be successful in this industry. And the guy goes, really? And I said, work with me one day. He said, I'm in. So met me at the dealership at 7:00, and he was there all day, and he goes, and it was 8:00 at night, and he goes, so you work these hours to impress me? I said, no, sir, I work these hours to put food on the table.
Yeah, every day.
And he goes, God bless you. I said, no. What are you going to do with that? Are you going to take it back to the powers to be to see what it takes?
Right.
And we're talking about turnover after turnover and retraining and the cost of owning a dealership. You think that, these guys are bazillionaires because they sell cars. Let me tell you what, every time I brought a salesperson on and he took 12 ups and he only sold one car, that cost me $3,500
at least
down the toilet.
Yeah, at least.
And that was back when I was running stores. Now it's doubled.
Yeah.
And I said, the cost of doing business, you don't get it. You see that one person is successful because he's the owner. Let's talk about everybody else that's in the picture. Yeah. And he goes, wow, I never knew. I said, that's the problem.
Yeah.
You sit up in the big house and you hear from everybody coming out that wants their hand in the cookie jar that doesn't benefit us.
There's a couple good ones. When the law was about to change on floor plan tax credits for us, we get to take tax credits on our floor plan expense. I called Ted Cruz's office, and he came and visited the store. And he spent about 3 minutes with me talking to me about it, and they stopped that from happening. There are some, and they do understand.
Congratulations.
My city, my city understands. I'll never forget when COVID was happening and they were shutting down everything, and they were trying to find ways to keep us open because 80 of their folks work here that live in this city.
Yeah.
So it's good. Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like we need some country music, Bo.
Well, we can't.
Luke Combs.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
We can do that. We
How
just
about
can't
some
put it on the deal.
bluegrass? You like bluegrass?
Bluegrass.
You don't like bluegrass?
Well, we could go get my great-grandparents out of
That's
their
what I'm
grave to
thinking.
watch it.
I
But
like that.
yeah.
I love bluegrass music.
214-787-1971. I want to reiterate real quick, we're here at Burleson Nissan. And I would just tell you that a lot of you moms and dads, and even if you don't have a graduating senior coming up, you can get a new Versa for under $19,000. You can get a new Sentra under $21,000. And so the moms and dads that are looking at, $15,000 cars, I'm like, hey, why don't you put that money in the bank, do a one pay on a lease?
Sure.
And get your kids through college,
Yep.
put their name on the lease, and get them established. If not, those cars, and let's talk real quick. There is a bigger separation now between CPO and new, which is certified pre-owned.
Yes. We got about 50 certified pre-owns on the lot today. It's a great market. If you want to save you $5,000, $7,000, $8,000, certified pre-owns are the way to go. It extends that warranty, makes you feel good about what you're getting. It's been through a really thorough inspection process. CPO is a big part of the market.
Because you can't scrimp when you're going CPO because that paperwork, the manufacturer backs the warranty on it.
Yeah, and they extend the warranty. It just makes them a great value. Yeah, it makes them a great value. And a lot of manufacturers like Nissan, we even have subvented rates, which means that better than the actual interest rate on CPOs. So we can help you save some money there too.
There you go, mom and dads, because a lot of you are calling me going, hey, I need this car at this price. And then when I call you back and tell you the mileage, you're like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yep.
And the last thing you want to do is if your kids are heading off to college, is pay for college and maintenance and repairs.
Yes.
Buy new, and there's some great price cars here. Like I said, under $21,000.
Yes.
Under $19,000.
Yes.
Brand spanking new.
Yep.
And you have that peace of mind. So when your kids go to college, They come home, you drop it off here at Burleson Nissan, let them do the once over on the vehicle, and you have that peace of mind where you wouldn't. And I'm going to say this again: every time college starts, within a couple of months, all these parents are calling me going, "Well, we bought this car and they said it needed $4,000 repair, $3,000 repair," and then I get involved and they're sending me ROs and everything.
Yeah.
And the one that we talked about earlier, they told them it needed $3,100 worth of repair and it needed a new gas cap.
Mm-hmm.
But the mom and dad were fixing to stroke the check because they didn't want their little babies stranded.
Yeah.
Why not take a look at what new or certified pre-owned? Because what Justin just said is such a bigger gap now, which they were dead on each other.
Yes, they were
because
for
of
a
supply
while.
and demand.
Well, we didn't have any new, so yes.
Yep, so it's a great time. The place, Burleson Nissan, 35 in Renfro Road. It took me 35 minutes to get here from my house. And I live in almost by South Lake.
Took me 12 minutes.
And, well, lucky dog. And it was the only time that I didn't have to race down the highway to get here. Because once you get in the far left lane, better be on the gas.
Yeah.
I've never seen more pickup trucks in my life than coming through Burleson, Texas. Good gosh. But anyway, it comes down to people. I know Justin personally, and I'm telling you, him and I could talk cars all day long. If I ever go to his house, we'd probably sit on the back porch for days.
Yes.
And he's a car guy. And when I mean that, he is a true car guy. And it transcends through all his salespeople. It starts at the top. It's people, the process, and then the product. Where you know you're here to look at Nissan, but what kind of people are you going to run into? What kind of process are they going to take you through to even just test drive or spend time? Because you and I both know not everybody's ready when they walk in the door.
That's very true.
And you got to respect that.
Yeah, you do. We talk about it all the time. You got to meet with the customer where they're at, however far they want to go. And a lot of times, customers will tell us, hey, I'm not buying today. I'm not buying today. And the next thing you know, they're like, okay, I'm ready,
Yeah, and they're programmed to say that when they get here.
Yeah. But if they don't want to and they just want to come see, I tell my salespeople all the time, people feel about car dealerships like they do the dentist. They don't really want to go to more than one dentist if they don't have to. So let's make it a really enjoyable experience and they'll buy from us.
No doubt about it. Go to theautomotiveedge.com, click on Ask Kurt. We'll put you with the right people doing the right things at the right place each and every time. If you come out here to Burleson Nissan today, let them know that you were listening to the Automotive Edge radio show and enjoy the experience. Or if you just want to test it, don't say the Automotive Edge until you're done and enjoy the experience. It's not that the Automotive Edge is going to get you better experience. It's just that Justin wants to know that you're here.
Yeah, they'll treat you great either way.
That's right. Thanks for having us out. And, Bo, you awake over there?
Yeah, sure. Well, the next time, let me know that that's going to be up because I was going to stay the night down here.
I need to sell that tent. I've been having trouble selling that tent. So
maybe I'll drive it with Bo in the tent.
Maybe
like that.
And get him to hold out some signs when we're going down the highway.
That would be great.
Be legal.
Yes.
Hey, the place, whether it's new, pre-owned, or certified.
Yes.
Get on the phone, get on the internet, make your appointment, and you know what? Tire kickers are welcome here in Burleson, Texas.
Come see us.
Yeah, come check it out.
You'll love our product.
There's a lot going on. Justin, thanks for having us out.
No, thank you guys.
Always
Appreciate
good seeing you. Big
Appreciate
Wheels.
Yes, sir. Always good to be here.
And we're going to go ahead and we'll get everything set up here in the next week or two, and we'll do a Bo's Burger Bash out here in Burleson. And thank all the listeners. We had great turnout the last couple of them.
Oh, yeah. And don't forget, next Saturday is the Connors Car Show in Keller, Texas. It's a phenomenal event.
Last year was over 700 cars. We raised over 100,000 for Down syndrome.
About 35,000 people will flow through there. Over 600 cars, you said, and it's going to be great.
We're going to have 100 vendors. We have the crawfish crawl, so if you like crawfish, come on out. But remember, the folks today that had us out, one of our great sponsors, Burleson Nissan, 35 in Renfro Road. Give them a chance. That's all I'm saying is just give them the opportunity.
30 seconds.
And let them talk about it. Have a great weekend. Remember, tell that person you love. Turn off those electronics and get reconnected. Have a great weekend, and we'll be back next Saturday here on the Automotive Edge Radio Show. Have a great weekend.
And Facebook, thanks for being a part of our broadcast today. Be sure and like and share. Let everybody know if they don't do Facebook that they can go and find us on YouTube. And that's the Automotive Edge Radio Show on YouTube. Become a part of that. Like it there on YouTube, so it'll help grow that page. So hit there on the YouTube channel. And till we get back next Saturday, have a safe and blessed week. And join us next Saturday live here on the Automotive Edge Radio Show from 8 to 10 on Talk Radio 1190 KFXR. Then we jump to 10 to noon on 97.1 The Freak. Art Naismith, love you, brother. Everyone else, love you too. We'll see y'all next Saturday here on the Automotive Edge radio show.